Why? Oh, right, okay. That may be my fault. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to the EA Sports WRC Creator Series Club. And it's fantastic to be back for week two. Last week, of course, we're at Rally Finland, which is one of the spiritual homes of Rally. The other spiritual home of Rally could be considered Rally Sweden, and that's where we are racing today in the snow and ice. And we've got some new creators today, and we've also got a new face in the commentary box. TK, how are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Excited to get going here for some rallying adventures through the Swedish hills.
Yeah, well, we are going to be getting going very, very soon, and I believe it will be Punju and Dirk Chocolate who will be the first two drivers out there on circuit tackling Isla. And there we are. We have more Scandinavian names that we can butcher in the commentary box. TK, your any good Scandinavian kind of links there? Do you have any good
I
pronunciations for it?
I have family that live in Sweden, so I think anything I butcher tonight
Yes.
will be immediately sent back to me.
That's fantastic. That's great. So you're our Swedish expert tonight. This is something we've just learned right now. But yeah, we do have some standings that we can show you for the Creator Series standings, of course, the Race Net standings and the Creator standings. First off, we're going to show you this Punji last week. Perfect week in Rally Finland, picking up 25 points for the stage win and also 5 points for that power win. Meraki not racing tonight. He's on 20 points. So Dirk Chocolate could very easily be in second place tonight if he plays his cards right. Patterson, the only other car to finish last week, quite brutal on our drivers. B-Roy, only Vic not making it to the end. But this week we have four more drivers: Aerotech, Rain Dancer, Mr. Dale. Oh, it's not Mr. Dale, actually. It should be emphatic. And Captain Sparkles, who will be driving tonight. So very, very excited for this one. And yeah, very interested to see how these go out on the rally. Should we go over and see how Punju and Dirk Chocolate are? See if they've started stage one, which they have. I believe this is Punju hitting it up right now, and Dirk Chocolate, of course, lagging behind like he always does. So this is Punju on the left, which we can probably go full screen with and see him attack this Azalea stage straight away on the snowy ice in, of course, not well, it is the traditional home in the game. Actually, it is more based on the farmland setting for the area, but of course it moved over little bit and more north to do with the kind of climate issues that were hitting Rally Sweden. So TK, Punju out on track here. He's a man to beat, isn't he?
He is indeed. He knows this game inside and out. Been doing a lot of practice through Rally Sweden throughout the week as well. And he's definitely one to watch out for. Absolutely sending it at the moment, no hesitation.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's going through sector three here straight away, and yeah, very, very nice. Very controlled he was last week. Completely on it. I mean, in one of the third to last stages, he was just so like right on the limit, really pushing hard, and he maybe got found a little bit. But his strategy will be to save a set of tires for the final service. He will have done the shakedown, and he is. really pushing here. He's really, really pushing. I wonder if Dirk Chocolate has also set off. We're meant to be having people running at exactly the same time this week, but Dirk Chocolate was one of those ones who didn't set off. We also should have by now the likes of Patterson and B-Roy setting off on their stages as well. So we can go over to those as well as soon as we have their feeds live. And yeah, here we are. Dirk Chocolate about to set off. He's about 2 minutes behind schedule. And yeah, you love to see that. But Dirk Chocolate, here we are, about to start off Rally 2 and potentially could move up to second today.
Yeah, a lot at stake for himself. He's just got to keep it nice and within the lines. The snow on the edges of the track has been absolutely brutal to some of our drivers during practice this week. It has been sending the cars flipping left, right, and centre.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got a clip to show later on, and it involves 21 flips from one instant, and it also involves me. We'll see. We'll watch that one. But if any of our creators can beat 21 flips in one single instant, then that would be pretty mighty for them. It would have been more if it wasn't stopped by a tree, but that was on one of the final stages. So this is actually Dirk Chocolate on a shakedown still. So he's still out there just trying to find the limits of that Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, but obviously not doing it there. So he's done a couple of shakedown runs, and he's just trying to find the right setup for him. And of course, when you hit that shakedown, you do get an extra set of tires. So that's a interesting game mechanic to be aware of. And Dirt Chocolate, I think, is going to be starting a run soon. But Punju out there through the third to last sector of this first stage, and looking pretty good here. I mean, very clean so far. We haven't seen any issues for him out on the snow.
Yeah, we know what Punju's like. We've seen the amazing setup he carries as well. There's not much panic in his eyes at the moment. He's quite calm and relaxed as he heads through Sweden, just wiping a little bit of sweat off his brow. But look at the eyes, steely focused on the road in front of him.
He's also chatting all the time. He's one of these great streamers who will really explain what they're doing as they're racing. A lot of mental capacity to do that, which is fantastic. But yeah, coming to a big jump here and a series of jumps actually through this 10.4 kilometer stage that we're on to set us up for Rally Sweden. 12 stages tonight, and I will butcher every single one of their names. We can all look forward to that. And yeah, Punju, he's got one more sector to go here. Dirk's still on shakedowns, man. Like this guy's got to, someone's got to get a clock to him or something. Maybe I'll send him one via Amazon Prime or something because he is not aware of of the times. Last week he was ahead of schedule by about 10 minutes. Now he's very very behind schedule. So we'll see how he does. But there we are, Punju. About a kilometer or so to go here on this stage, and looking good straight out the bat. I think he will be setting the pace. Of course, if you want to be involved with the EA Sports WRC club, you can just simply log into RaceNet and look at partner clubs. There we are, Creator Series, over 300 members when I last looked, and you could very well win the championship. And of course, we'll be bringing those standings up, those overall standings up, a little bit later as we hit those stages. But I think it's Kamikaze, an esports driver for Exodus, who is doing very well at the moment. But look at Punju, he's absolutely pumped with that stage result.
He is indeed. Exhilaration on his face. Not quite so much for the other driver that we see on screen at the moment, B-Roy, where we did cut to his camera. Just a little bit of a detour taking through the stage, but a little bit of panic, a little bit of overcorrection here for the Subaru Impreza, the beautiful blue and gold livery car, as he finds himself just about midway through the stage here.
Yep, and yeah, one of the faster cars in this. BY, a person who didn't make it to the end of Valley Finland, actually crashing out on the and having terminal damage with just 2 stages to go last time out, which is heartbreaking. Really, only Vic was the only other retirement who had a lot of wheel issues last week. As oh, there we are. BY sends it far too deep into that corner, but he wouldn't have took much damage from that, and he can race forward.
Yeah, a lot of the car and a lot of the track here is just dealing with damage management. If you can keep the car on the road, you don't necessarily have to be quick enough, but the car will compensate itself in those later stages. The suspension taking an absolute battering here with B-Roy.
Yep. So pushing forward through stage one and just clipping that ice bank a little bit on the left. You can use the ice banks to your benefit if you just dip a wheel onto them. If it's solid enough, then you can kind of use it to correct yourself out the corner and carry more speed through the corner. Kind of like wall riding in Forza Horizon is what I'd compare it to if you've played that game before. But of course, yeah, it's a bit of a dangerous game because if you go too deep into an ice bank, you could easily flip the car or get a rear into it and do exactly what he did there, which was take a bit of damage off it and slow himself down through the corners.
Yeah, we almost saw it there with B-Roy again, just unsettling the car through some of the easier sections of this stage. You can see the instructions at the top telling him it's a fairly easy few corners, 4, 5s, and 6s. Only being the easiest. Oh, and it's a roll here for B-Roy.
Yeah, can he beat 21 flips? No, he can't. But that was about 8 flips, though, I think. But a big, big moment there on stage one. And this is what cost him last time out. Just silly little mistakes like that really do impact you because, of course, you can't fix damage. Damage isn't reset at the end of every stage. We try and keep it realistic, if I can get my words out. And we do only have 5 services, including the first stage, to fix any damage from that shakedown and change tires and select the right tires, change the setup, etc. So you can only make changes to the car, consider it kind of like part firming conditions at those services. And yeah, one of those being the next one being on stage 4, which is Ekashad, which is exactly how you say that. Do not come at me if you are from Sweden or Scandinavia. But yeah, I mean, you're Scandinavian, TK. That's what I'm getting from this. That's exactly what you said, isn't it?
We'll go with that. I've got, yeah.
Have you been on the club? Because I know I saw you download the game at some point this week. Have you managed to set any times this week?
I haven't been able to so far. I'm looking forward to getting involved and getting racing myself. I unfortunately am a pad player, but I've heard at
Oh,
least in
pad
Formula
version.
One that can give you an advantage. So we'll see what it's like for WRC.
Yeah, I think in WRC, honestly, like I've played a lot of rally games growing up on the pad, so I can easily jump on the pad. Like I find it harder on the wheel somewhat. As B-Roy plunges into a TV very nicely there in the top left-hand corner. We do have Emphatic in the top right, making his WRC debut in the Creator Series. Dirk Chocolate bottom left. He's finally started stage one, and Punju giving us a bit of highlights of his stage there, driving that Mini Cooper Countryman to perfection here in Sweden.
Yeah, beautiful little car. Those Countryman Rally spec cars. We've got a real wide range. 2 Lancers on the screen at the moment with both Dirk Chocolate and Emphatic, and a few guys sticking to some of the more classics. The Imprezas really coming out in force. I know Hoodie Pete ran quite a few of his with the 2001 Super Impreza for this stage.
Yep. So, yeah. So here we are. We have a collection of drivers. We do have indeed 2 drivers who have completed their stages. And do you know what? Do you know why I was saying that Dirk was running along stage? It's actually because Dirk has Punju and Captain Sparkles have switched and they've gone head to head. So it's Captain Sparkles also making his debut in the WRC. I'm not sure if we've got his race feed yet. I'm sure producer Rob will be able to tell me in the background. But Dirk Chocolate is actually battling Emphatic out there on the stage. So those two are no longer going head to head. So we would change the format a little bit. We are meant to be having drivers running exactly the same time head to head. And Punju out there at the moment will be just starting his second stage here and will be looking to go over. So maybe we can go over to Punju in just a moment and fully explore stage 2, which is Lakshon. Lakshon? Lakshon? Correct me in Twitch chat if I'm wrong. I'm sure I will be. But yeah, he's out there on stage 2, and it will be Captain Sparkles who he will be going against.
Yeah, he's running with his lights off here, which is a really interesting call. It's not necessarily too dark, but having the lights on will be a real advantage for Punju. I know there was talk within the drivers about having a little bit of a challenge between themselves to run in the dark, but Punju maybe just taking things to the slightly next level here.
Yep, 11 kilometers long this stage is, and it is still dark out there, dawn. We do run kind of realistic times, of course, going through the day, and 2 days that our rallies are set on. So it will be dawn to morning to afternoon to night, and of course, some snowy conditions forecast as well through the stages as well, as Punju is pushing through the second sector and maybe a little bit wide through one of the corners, just a few yards back, but still looking good for the money. And I wonder how Captain Sparkles is getting along. Yeah, we will be trying to get a race feed for him very very soon. But yeah, we do have cars that have completed stage one: Punju, Captain Sparkles, Only Vic, and Riff Blondie, Patterson, B-Roy, Emphatic, Dirk, Aerotech, and Rain Dancer all out there on stage one at this moment. So Punju and Captain Sparkles right now pushing through stage 2, and we do have a kind of split there. Punju gets it very, very wrong there and onto the banking, and just about manages to collect it.
Yeah, this is where the real split will start to come in amongst the drivers. They'll see their fellow compatriots having completed the earlier stages. You'll have the likes of Aerotech, who hasn't even started stage one yet, seeing Punju, Captain Vic, who have completed stage one, wanting to compare themselves to those initial runs. And maybe a little bit of competitiveness will sneak in with those as well.
Yeah, what are you making of it so far, TK? Are you enjoying this? Are you
I am
enjoying this rally scene?
absolutely loving this.
Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? It really is good fun. Let us know in chat. If you've completed the club, where you are in position wise, we can highlight you. Kamikaze, I already know you're high up. Loles, I presume you're also high up without having a look at it and looking at the last week's standings. But we've had a lot of people join since last week. I think Blembar was so far ahead last week. But now we've got some serious esports guys in, and they are absolutely ripping up the club. We'll have some clips from them a little later on. But for now, we're just going to continue looking at Punju on stage two here.
Yeah, it's a fantastic effort seeing how many people just getting involved as we do have a race feed for Captain Sparkles here. He's heading through stage number 2 alongside Bunju. These two head to head. I need to change my mind from Formula One
Yeah,
down to WRC.
literally, if you listen back to last week's broadcast, I was so atrocious at it. Like, at one point, I was ripping on Alfie Whitefoot, but then literally 2 seconds later, I was like, "Oh, we're in the race. We're on this part of the sector. We're in this." Like, it was so. We're on lap two. Like, it was so bad from myself. So yeah, we're getting used to Rally, aren't we, TK? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a completely new thing for us. It's a completely new thing for our drivers as well. So it's a really nice development opportunity to be able to be involved with EA Sports as well, and nice to see the community coming together.
Absolutely. So Blenbar in chat, very good to see you. Aerotech, we are reinstalling the game. That is very interesting. Aerotech was one, of course, meant to be one of our drivers, so he's not, that's why he's not out there. But clearing the cache out, reinstalling the game does give you an extra couple of attempts. I've just made that completely up, but who knows? You could still win it overall with reinstalling the game. So it's a shame, Aerotech. Any ETA on when when you'll be able to reinstall the game, Aerotech? What's your download speed's not too bad, right? So it shouldn't be too long, but it is a big game. So yeah, of course it is. If you haven't got the game yet, it's fantastic. I mean, I've only just got into it over the last couple of weeks, but I believe it is on sale, certainly on Steam and the PlayStation Store. I presume the Xbox Store as well. For I think it's roughly £18, whatever that is in your currency. And yeah, I can't recommend the game enough. It really is really fun just to be out there full tilt. And when you hook it all up, when you in the right zone, it's just fantastic. Captain Sparkles here on the left and Punju on the right. Captain Sparkles, of course, the Minecraft YouTuber. Can you still call him that? He's retiring from Minecraft, of course. Recently announced that, but looking to still be a streamer and venturing out into WRC. Of course, he was part of the Williams Gaming Club broadcast as well when Punju was running a similar event over there. But now he's coming over to the EA Sports Creator Series for the first time, and it's fantastic to have him in. Actually, Captain Sparkle's doing remarkably well here. They're not exactly synced up left to right, but it's 5:57. It'll be about a 6 minute 10 maybe on this stage as we go through the final few corners, keeping it on track, and a lovely setup for him as well. Look at that wheel. Does that got a Porsche logo on? I think it does.
I think it does indeed. He's swapped blocky snow for more realistic snow here in the Create series and setting a fairly respectable lap time. Sector
That was
time.
perfect, TK. Well done.
16:3. Thank you. It's a nice transition.
Yeah, so very fast there, and Punju was quicker. But you know what? In this division of cars, we're running the 97 to 2011 World Rally cars. There is a degree of pace difference between the cars. I'm not saying it was all on that, but we can certainly say, Captain Sparkles can hold his hands up and say, I was running the slowest car in the pack, the Subaru Impreza 1998, which I believe producer Rob in the background also ran it in and was leading the class of Subaru Impreza 1998s by being the only person who had done it as of about 24 or 48 hours ago. So good on him. He was also last in the pack, and maybe Captain Sparkles can beat him out on track. We'll see what happens. But those two comparing their times, and actually Captain Sparkles 83rd overall on that stage. And look at that straight away, Punju looking at Ham is old. Now, Ham is old, of course, and Punju came across the line very, very close last week. I think it was about 3 tenths between them. But we do know that Hamizol didn't make it through the stage. Terminal damage on stage 5 caused by a wheel malfunction. So that's very sad for him. But 12th place for Spongio overall on that stage. And that's a really Herculean effort with the standard of drivers that we have in this club at the moment.
Absolutely, a really high class tier of driving. 83 in the world in a 1998 Super Impreza. That is absolutely fantastic from Captain Sparkles, and personally, one of my favourite cars that they actually have in this game. I've had a quick flick through some of the cars that you can choose from, and definitely will be running a few rallies in that myself.
I tell you what, let's hear from Punju after he's done that stage. If we've got a bit of time, let's get Punju in and see what he's doing. He's laughing raucously at the moment, so we'll get him in mid laugh. Punju, we're pulling you into the
Oh,
chat.
hey.
How are you finding it so far? 2 stages done, looking remarkably good out there.
Yep. I'm feeling good today. It seems like whatever I'm doing is working, you know? I can't be mad about anything. I'm flying. I don't Yeah, it's working out good, man. Honestly, I feel good.
You're saying stuff, and it's like you don't want to jinx yourself. Right? You're like, I'm doing
Basically.
good. I don't want to jinx this. I mean, we saw a little bit of a mistake over the rocks on one of the banks
Oh,
through
well,
stage 2.
that
But
that was
stage
just
1, you were
smile
just
points.
on the limit and pushing, and I think that was a perfect run, wasn't it?
Stage 1 was pretty good. I had one little mistake where I think I went off just like for maybe a few feet, but it was tight. It was really small. And then stage 2 was there were a few spots like I'm watching the replay right now where I just really nailed it. I was like, oh man, I'm on it. Uh, you're right though. Those rocks on the side were they got a little bit of extra attention for sure.
Yeah. They had a bit of colouring. It's
I was
slightly red.
I honestly thought I had done myself in. I thought I was done for when I hit those. I was like, oh
Oh,
no,
really? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but
I tell you what, I can
worked out.
speak from experience. If you hit those rocks at the wrong angle, you will lose a rear tire. And if you
Yes.
do it twice on one stage, you are in pure misery,
Oh
especially
yep.
if you're only a bit packed one tire. I lost about 5 minutes on one stage towards the end,
Ooh,
just
rip.
because I had to do the whole of stage 11 with 3 tires. And
Oh wow.
That Peugeot 306 did not want to stay in a straight line anymore. In fact, it spun about 50 times.
This sounds about right. Yeah, I'm watching the replay right now. I just saw one of my other offs where I went on the outside and I hit a snow berm and my rear tire just took a giant air time right there. Looked like it touched a trampoline, but yeah, I mean otherwise it's feeling good. It's good to see. I think this like new format that we have from last week of extending some times is making a big
Yeah,
difference as well. So
that's
way less
absolutely awesome.
stressed, more relaxed.
That's good to see. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you're about 45 seconds off the pace of the esports guys now. What are you looking
Yep.
for at the end? What's the kind of pace that you're looking for at the end?
Rather than pace, I'd say just position. I just obviously I want to be all the creators, right? But there's a few people like drivers that I really want to beat that are in the club that I know. Vlembar is a big one that I always want to do better than. And he's tough, you know. So I think I have a shot today, though. I think I'm right on him right now. So yeah, that's he's my target today.
Okay, Vlembar, you're going for the king, the king of
Yes,
Valley Finland.
he
You
beat
got
me
a
the
chance.
first stage. I beat him the second stage. Right now, I'm up on him by half a second,
Well,
by just
I'll,
five
I'll
tenths.
I'll let you go because I think Captain Sparkle's going to go on to stage
Yep,
3 now. So that's
that's
fantastic,
time.
and we will see you very very soon, I'm sure, Punju.
Thanks so much.
And yeah, that's fantastic. See, Captain Sparkle's now heading on stage 3. Misty conditions out there, TK. How will that affect our drivers?
I think it's really going to be a true tale of how determined are you to overcome this stage. It's minimal vision in the distance. It's going to be so close, and it really is going to be edge of the wire stuff for our drivers here. It's going to be a true test of determination. How much do you trust your co-driver? How much do you trust those instructions appearing on the screen? And how willing are you to send it into the unknown?
Yeah, I think the advice traditionally is, if you know the stage really, really well, like you say you set 2 minute fives consistently on it, and then it's a foggy conditions, maybe it's snowing, visibility is poor. It's not a shame to back off and not be on the same pace because you just can't see stuff coming ahead. You do have to just dial out a little bit of that, not drive at 9 tenths, maybe just set 8 tenths, just take a tenth of pace off it. So we'll see how he does. Of course, we don't have a comparison to what Captain Sparkles can normally run on stage 3, which is Alcyon. It's quite a quick kind of stint here, and it's got this very interesting right-hander in the final sector. Actually, it was one of the ones that I was probably quickest on overall in my time. It's a really enjoyable stage, this one, but he's just going to head down a left-hand banking here, and he can get this very wrong, but he's taking that very sensibly, very cautiously before this right-hander. basically a square right there as he can hit that banking on the left. It's a very narrow track up here, and then he'll have a couple of left-handers that'll have to throw it up, and you've got to hit that left-hander perfectly to not go too wide out there, but just dying a little pace out of it. Very much a nice run through there. Also being told not to cut because of the snowbanks down here. And then towards the end of the stage, you do have a bridge that can catch you out very, very easily, of course, in these low visibility conditions. And he will just have to take it very, very cautiously there. But really smart driving here from Captain Sparkles, the man known famously for Minecraft, but looking to dial into other streaming areas, of course, as he just hits a snowbank. Here's that bridge. It's so easy to get caught out by that one. But we will have the stage end in just a moment and see what kind of time he's done. I think he's looking at about a 2-minute 12, 2-minute 13 as he goes over the time beans. That's nice, and we'll see how Punju can do on that one too. Of course, the man he's pitted up against this week, just in the terms of runnings. But yeah, very nice there from Captain Sparkles. Punju coming to the end already. At the same time, do you see that? That's the pace difference. 1 minute 49. I think he was very happy with that one, Punju. And of course, they do have a service now for the next stage, which is good. So we do have that, and I'm just going to look through who's actually completed their runs so far. So stage two wise, we will be looking at maybe Patterson and B-Roy, who will be about to set off for their next run. So we can maybe go over to them and see how they're doing.
Indeed, we would. A few drivers just getting themselves prepped up. It's worth noting, though, that Puncher and Captain could have put a little bit extra into stage three. Like you said, that service area coming to them at the end of the stage. So they have the opportunity to get some repairs in, and that could have forced them to go a little bit harder than they usually would have.
Yep, so B-Roy now attacking this very, very quick stage. In fact, I think it is one of our quickest stages on here. We do run this stage in reverse for the next stage, which has a similar world record time, but I always feel this configuration going this way, it's just a little bit quicker for whatever reason. Just taking those final few corners, it just brings a bit of pace out of it. B-Roy, again, using those banks and abusing the bodywork of that Impreza 2008 car as he pushes on through this second sector. And yeah, looking very much on it here. I sense a mistake coming from young B-Roy, our man from Florida. And there's the mistake. He's just pushing it. You could just tell he's just pushing a little bit beyond his comfort zone here. And, of course, he does have that service next time. As TK pointed out, he can pick up a little bit more damage and get it fixed. But it's only a medium service, so 30 minutes service. So it's not the most extensive service because it's generally have a shorter set of initial stages here than we did last time out at Rally Finland. And this is the downhill left-hander into the right-hander. You can get so easily wrong here if you push a little bit too hard, but he seems to be on it there. That was quite nice. Into this square right. And there we are, just heading uphill now. And B-Roy on for a decent time here, even if he did have that little moment early on.
Yeah, I think he might actually have some rear right damage. You can see him continuing to flick that steering wheel to the right, just trying to hold the car straight. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with the Subaru, but definitely some damage on the rear from that contact. And he continues to bombard it against those snow barrels.
So there's Patterson on the left as well, and they're very, very close, and they'll be even closer because B-Roy's gone for his 10th flip of the day, and he was looking to be ahead of the man on left's time, and I think he still will be once you compare the deltas. 2-minute 10 for Patterson out there, and B-Roy has done this one in a 2-minute 04. So out of those two, B-Roy, even with those incidents, doing well. So I wonder if Patterson had a bit of an off early doors. So 2 minutes 22 seconds. That was around 12 seconds off the pace of Captain Sparkles through stage three. So a little bit of a moment, and crashing out in the service road as well. There, Patterson gesticulating at the camera, clearly not happy with something there on that stage.
Yeah, his car looks fairly intact, all things considered. It might have been a slow stage for him, but at least he's got that car home in at least most of its pieces. The service won't be too much of an issue for him here. He can get most of it done and have a cup of tea while he waits for everybody else to get themselves prepped.
We could also head over. I think we spied Rift Blondie out on stage for this stage three, and Only Vic as well down in there. So we can head over those for the next one, and then yeah, Aerotech. Are you still there's Rain Dancer. So Rain Dancer we haven't come to yet so far. We will come to him and see some of his times, but yeah, he's actually yet to start the stage. So, you know what? While we have Rain Dancer, why don't we just go full screen with Rain Dancer? Oh no, we do have Only Vic. There we are. There we are. Yeah, we've gone full screen over Vic as she ends the stage, and I think this is going to be a similar, comparable time to Patterson here, maybe a little bit slower. And there we are. Only Vic's there. I think we should go and watch Rain Dancer actually here because he's a big WRC2 streamer, and we could see him hit off on this stage, and we did get to him. There we are. So he's going to be starting stage 3 here. We've seen what a good time is, about a 1 minute 49 from Punju. Can Rain Dancer do anything to upset that through stage 2? I'll just get a quick recap of what time, where he is overall. Yeah, we'll just watch the start of this stage very soon.
Indeed, it's all smiles on Rain Dancer's face. He's obviously happy with his first two stages here. Once again, driving that 98 Super Impreza, a little bit of sweat on the brow, so maybe really starting to push. But all smiles as he gets prepped to start the stage in stage number 3.
Yep, he's giving a big thumbs up to the camera, wiping the sweat off his brow, and the lights will go on his starting time, and he will head off into this very, very quick setup. And yep, he has. He's. I can't actually see where he is in the EA side because I don't quite know what his EA tag is. I was hoping it would be Rain Dancer, but I can't. Oh no, I can see someone called Rain Dancer. You 56th overall at the moment. He's 1 minute 36 down. So that's about 50 seconds down on Punju before heading into the stage. Punju was, of course, the fastest person out there on track at the time. And Rain Dancer dancing through this stage here. Snowy conditions, visibility is very low. It didn't seem snowy to some of our other drivers. So maybe they've just got their weather effects turned down slightly. But Rain Dancer, full tilt here, actually giving it the beans.
Indeed, giving it the beans. That's a great bit of phrase for what's going on here. Just clips the barrier, not the barrier, the snowbow on the left hand side. I really
The
need to get
Armco.
the F1.
The
Yeah, the
snow
Armco
Armco.
barrier, the snow Armco. They've built it up. They've dismantled it in Australia this week, and they brought it to snowy Sweden. And Rain Dancer still managing to weave his way through, albeit with a couple of minor corrections needed.
Yep, and yeah, doing well here. Lovely to have a variety of new creators here in the Creator Series. Last week we had mainly people who had, of course, raced in the F1 Creator Series, what we are known for best. But this new venture into rally, it's not racing, it's rally, as the tagline for the game says, is a great opportunity to have people from outside of the F1 scene compete on the Creator Series, and it's great to have people like Rain Dancer, Aerotech when he finally reinstalls his game, and of course Captain Sparkles in the Creator Series for the first time, and yeah, really fascinating to see them. Rain Dancer is to the left. Riff Blondie is in the service park for stage 4, and we can probably go over to that and actually have just a quick look at how that service menu works and how you prioritize different different kind of elements, etc. So only really light damage going into stage 4, so that's all very replaceable. A couple of quick fixes, suspension she's chosen to replace, and she is, of course, in the Super Impreza 2001. And the next stage will be Exarad. The other thing she needs to do, of course, is select a new set of tires. This is something me and Rob both forgot to do on our runs because we are novices and not pros like our creators. But yeah, Riff Blondie out there. Actually, I don't think anyone has started stage 4 yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that one. But of course, it will be Punju and Captain Sparkers who will go at 8 p.m. So that is now, by my reckoning.
Yeah, I think Punji's literally just started the stage. As we were mentioning, drivers have a little bit of time during this service period just to get themselves sorted. It's not going to take them the full, I think, 3 or 4 minutes they get allocated to fix the car up. So we see there, Riff Blondie just getting themselves a drink, getting themselves hydrated and ready to go for the next 3 stages. And just a little bit of mental preparation. That's oh so important. You have to remember, it's not just the car, it is the driver that you have to keep focused as well.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we go over to see some rally clips in just a moment because I would like to go through a couple of these and see them. We'll see if we can pull those in. But yeah, I would very much like to see the rally clips whenever we're ready to do that, and we can show off. This is Hoodie Pete. One of our F1 streamers who took part in the rally in a stream earlier this week, and having a few moments out there. I believe this is him having a bit of a role out there on one of the stages. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but him in the right coming to a bit of a jump and I think it's this snowbank on the left that he has an issue with. Yeah, here it is on the left. He has a bit of a nice flip here, so he sort of talks about it, seeing it coming, and yeah, that sounds filthy actually, taken out of context. But yeah, we also have this masterclass of rolling from myself that I will show off, and this is 21 rolls in about 10 seconds. And it did take me until about here to realize how bad a crash I actually had. That was very very fun, TK.
It looked very entertaining. I remember the first time watching this back when you posted it in our Discord chat. Being able to see it, I was trying to count it, but I got very, very dizzy attempting to.
I mean, I did slow it down from the outside view when I was gathering the clips for this. I probably should have just done a slow mo clip, but it probably would have took about 50 seconds to go for all 21 flips. But I mean, that Peugeot 306 wasn't looking in a good state to begin with. But it was just this tree on the right that stopped it going on forever, potentially. It felt very memeable at the time, certainly. But yeah, I just thought we'd show a few clips off. Of course, keep sending those clips in! Exclamation mark Discord if you want to get more clips in. We do have more clips lined up, and a couple of shots of Colin's crest on stage 5, which of course named after the late Colin McRae, and it's unfortunately not really on the proper circuit anymore because it isn't at Varmland. But of course, this being based on Varmland has that. So here we are, B-Roy out there on this stage, and this is stage 4, so the reverse of the stage 3 of Alcson. This is Extrad, and we've just had a service, so he's able to fix a little bit of damage. You can see his bonnet's back, which is nice.
Yeah, always fortunate that he's able to see the road in front of him. They should know this stage. They've literally just done it. They're driving back the way they just came. So hopefully the reverse muscle memory just coming in a little bit crucial, just keeping it out the walls and making sure they get to the end of the stage with that car intact.
Yep, so he's just traveling through here. Patterson has completed his time. We'll be able to get a quick shot at the RaceNet. Maybe at the next services, we can go over to RaceNet and just have a bit of time to go through that and talk about where everyone is so far. But I can confirm Punju is doing very, very well after 3 stages, and I believe he's actually completed stage 4 now. So he's doing very decent actually. Punju 13th, only a minute and 15 off the pace of some very very quick esports stars who have joined into clubs. Big shout out to Kamikaze. He's basically destroyed every single one person on every single stage. At the moment, he's got a clean sweep, I believe. Actually, there may be a stage just later on that he doesn't quite have the overall time for, but he really did do a masterful performance. And we do have a clip from him later on showing off stage 12, a little preview of our final stage, which of course is a super stage, so worth 5 points to the person who overall wins it in the creator standings. So fantastic. See BOI just finishing off there, 206 on that, a lot cleaner run on that way back for that stage.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it within that top 100, and I think he'll be happy with that. I think you can see a few names just flicking past, as he does indeed go right towards the top 10. He wants to see who has that top time, and indeed, like you said, Kamikaze quite easily leading the split here.
I believe Riff Blondie is out there on track at the moment on this stage that B-Roy's just completed of Extrad, the 4th stage here of round 2 in Rally Sweden for the EA Sports WRC Club. I don't think that's the name. I think it's like EA Creator Series WRC Club. It's far too long for me to remember. We like EA. We're the Creator Series. This is WRC. That's all you need to know with the title. But yeah, this is B1 at the moment. Hopefully, we can head over to Rift Blondie in just a moment. This is Ray Dancer just prepping himself for stage 4, which I believe Rift Blondie is going through. And there she is pushing forward and coming to the final sector. And yeah, driving the beams off of that Subaru Impreza 2001. And yeah, it's good to have Riff Blondie back in the Creator Series. I believe she did do a Creator Series race in the F1 about maybe half a year ago, over half a year ago. Azerbaijan rings a bell from analysing the standings of that. But there we are, about just the final timing gate through stop point control. And that's a 2-minute 11 for her. So that's a very, very decent time. Very similar to what B-Roy did in that previous stage.
Yeah, very, very similar. Interesting to note the difference in wheels that some of our drivers are using. Some sticking with the Formula style wheels with the Fanatec's, etc. B-Roy and some other creators on the more traditional round wheels. So I wonder if that has much effect on our drivers' performance.
I think it does, you know. I think 'cause you just don't you don't I think people don't like it, right? Okay, it's not the natural way of doing it, and I think generally it is better to have a round wheel. That's why the G29 is one of the most goated wheels ever. I'm not even looking for, Logitech sponsorship here. I'm just talking about my wheel I've had for 8 years, still going, and I'm sure all the pros. I'm sure EXL Kamikaze races on a Logitech G29. I'm sure he does. Right, okay, it's
I
definitely
haven't,
not a really fancy wheel.
I have
Uh,
on good authority there on pad.
yeah. Oh, pad. Maybe we can do a pad versus, wheel. Is there anyone actually racing in pad here? I'm not
I
quite
will
sure,
be.
but yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Rally Kenya next week. We've got. Yeah, producer Rob is saying in the background that he was indeed on pad. So yeah, Loles G29 doesn't break with anything for real. Exactly. You can use that, you can abuse it, and it keeps on going. But yeah, what was I saying? Something about producer Rob being on pad. Do we have any creators on pad? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Next week is Rally Kenya, which is one of the most hard wearing rallies. I think we'll see a few terminal damages out there, and maybe on this one too. But yeah, who else is out there at the moment? Rain Dancer is actually out there on this stage at the moment, if what we're being told is correct. And I believe Captain Sparkles and Punju have just started stage 6. So it's stage 5, sorry, which is a big one. We do have the first running of Colin's Crest here, which is a big, big jump. So it'd be good to actually go through this stage and try to get everyone going through that jump, because it's good fun, and there's a bit of an arena feel around it as well. So Captain Sparkles here pushing out there, and Punju on the left, the person currently leading the Creator Series standings for the WRC, and also leading the creators out on road who are racing in tonight's broadcast. Thank you very much for everyone who is watching along. Please drop us follow, !Discord if you're not already part of the Discord. All the details of the WRC club as Punju just has a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake there and a double hit with those snowbanks.
I think you just say there, that's absolutely fine. We're going to carry on to his chat. Good resilience there from the man in the mini, but he's not far off Colin's Crest now, if I remember correctly. And the jump is one you really want to fear. It can really unsettle the car if you land it wrong.
Yeah, of course, you want to carry over as much pace as you can through it. But famously, I think I was watching Rally Sweden 2000, no, Rally Finland 2006, and Marcus Gromholm says, you can't actually make up that much time on the jumps. So you want to be a bit cautious over there. Of course, Marcus Gromholm, who got his first ever win at Rally Sweden back in 2001 in the Peugeot 306. I wonder if any of our creators is actually in the Peugeot 306, which is the car I chose to do because of that exact reason that Marcus Gromholm got his first one here. But we are coming up to Colin's Crest very, very soon as Punchy, out of shape again. Just a little bit rattled from that earlier issue. And we will have Colin's Crest very, very sure. Let's hope he doesn't flip it through it. Oh, no,
Yeah,
he does.
he's lacking a little bit of concentration here. I think that earlier spin, like you said, just really messing with him again. Another silly mistake for Punju as we head through just over the 3/4 mark stage. And a little bit of anger on his face, a little bit of confusion as to what seems to be going wrong for him.
Yep. So, yeah, Colin's Crest coming up towards the end of this sector, or just at in the final sector. Things I should have took a note of beforehand, but we haven't. But we will learn together on stage, and I'm sure everyone who knows this game like the back of their hand knows that exactly when it's going to come up. But there we are. An interesting, I think, a custom livery on that Mini Countryman or something, because he's got absolutely horrible window shield that really blocks the view of it with that X on it. I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe it's not a custom livery. Maybe it is just the default livery, and it is that horrendous. So yeah, that's not right. The window visor strip, you could say. But here we are. Here's Colin's Crest. We're going to go over it for the first time today and see how much big air we can get. And that's actually lovely. He's stuck the landing there, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely perfect for Punji there through the corners. You can see the celebrations, the fist bump to the camera, and that will really start to raise the confidences.
Yep. So Captain Sparkles on the right isn't too far away from hitting that at the moment. 4 minutes 7 so far on the stage for Punju as he comes to the kilometre to go banner. I think that's kilometre to go banner. I'm just making that up, to be honest. It may just be a general indication that you're near the end of the stage. But yeah, stage 5 we are on here, which is world record pace, which is about 4 minutes 8 for this stage. So obviously we're not on world record pace in the creator series, but oh, he does actually hit a signpost there and has to go for another spin before stop point control, and just about manages to pick that one up. There we are through the final stop point control time, and it's a 4 minute 39 there. So again, Punju just seeming to be right on it. I think he's fired up here and crashing into the marshals for good measure.
Yeah, just a little bit of annoyance there. He had a fantastic jump over Colin's crest, but some easy mistakes just putting him back there 31 seconds off that world record time and finds himself just in the high 30s. Still a very respectable result. I think we do need to mention that, of course.
Okay, so we we do have potentially, is it the RaceNet standings that we could go to? We could go and just have a quick look at the RaceNet standings actually. Hello everyone. This is after stage 1, so this is the overall after stage 1, which is Punju to the right. I quite like it widescreen. We didn't have it widescreen last week, but it's quite nice. Blenbar was in 17th. Punju just behind him. That's who Punju said he was fighting with. Blenbar, the person who won it last week. But could we go over to the stage we've just completed, give it a quick refresh, and see where Punju is overall here? But yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with Punju.
Yeah, we're just going to go look at the stage 5 standings, the one that we have just completed. There we go. Vargason in still leading. It's actually not Kamikaze.
Yeah, so that is just the actual stage. But if we look at the overall, there we are, Kamikaze leading by 17
Ah,
seconds. And Punju, about a minute and 44 off the pace, which seems not too bad, really, but quite far off Vlembar, actually. He said he was going to come for Vlembar, but look at that. There's about 30 seconds between the two. That's less than 30 seconds. That's 20 seconds. Maths with Gareth Allen. Enjoy that one. But yeah, Punju just right up there at the moment. What can we say? He's hungry for a championship. Was of course a bit wronged during that playoff broadcast that you presented over the weekend. What were your thoughts about that? Just quickly.
oh, it was it was a dramatic end to what has been a fantastic season here in the F1 and the F2 Creator Series. Incidents that weren't necessarily his fault, but he will end up in F2 next season. I know he's going to smash it. He's got the confidence to be able to do so, but it was just a really unfortunate end to what had been a fantastic season.
Yep. So anyway, Patterson and B-Roy out there on track, and we can probably go over to maybe Patterson, and we'll see if we get the feed up correctly. Double Patterson. That's what we want to see. Smooth Patterson. So here we are. So I think they've actually gone through Collins Crest, so we've missed that, but we could go over to Only Vic and Riff Blondie in a little bit. I'll just give my producer time to catch up with my requests as we go through those stages. And there we are. Look, Only Vic and Riff Blondie, and Only Vic is now indeed an OBS source. That is what she looks like. So as we go through, we are very close to Collins Crest on both of these, I believe.
Yeah, indeed. Just lining themselves up. A really good competition between the two of them at the moment. Can't see what time Riff Blondie's putting on at the moment, but for Only Vic, it's a 4:22. So not going to be anywhere near world record pace, but still, I think Only Vic definitely enjoying herself.
Yeah, absolutely. And if she can get through a few more stages, she'll do better than she did last week. Of course, having some wheel issues last week, so just really not having a fun time out there. But yeah, it's going towards this final stage. Are we actually on the same stage? I think they are on the right stage here. But only Vic's had a bit of a moment now on the left and crashed into a tree a couple of times, which is not ideal. With Blondie all over the snowbanks as well, pushing very hard here, and she's just been over Collins Crest. So very, very interesting here. But I wonder if there's a bit of damage on that Subaru because it just seems very hard to get through the corners. I wonder if there's a rear puncture or some such because it just doesn't seem to be going forward how you would expect it to.
Yeah, she's really having to fight the car through these stages all over the shop, just developing what we like to call the esports line through most of this at the moment. But Only Vic really in a bit of trouble, facing the wrong way, almost facing disqualification there. But something is definitely going wrong with her Subaru.
Yep. Also out there at the moment, Emphatic and Dirk. We haven't seen much of Emphatic and Dirk. I wonder if Emphatic Streams even work as only because it's lost a front bumper as well. A reset penalty for good measure. Riff Blondie, 85th overall on that one, and just missed what time she got there, and unfortunately, it's just took behind the camera screen there. But I think it was very decent and they're very competitive on there once again. Emphatic and Dirk, here we are. They're just coming to the end of the stage. Actually, Dirk a little bit behind in terms of where he's on stage, but time-wise, looking good and looking competitive. And of course, the Ferrari Esports creator, the Red Bull creator on the right, pushing their cars both in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evos. So in very equal machinery here, as Emphatic over the line of 4:45 for him on that stage, and Dirk Chocolate is pushing here as well. We'll see if he can match that 4:45 on the right that Emphatic has just set around the hay bales and on the snowbank. Not fantastic there, and I think this is going to be a slower time for Dirk. I think he was saying he's just had absolutely no time to practice this week. So yeah, that is the case. But I would say Emphatic is a very late call up as well. So it's a bit of a washed excuse from Dirk. Maybe we can get Dirk in for a chat after this run. But we'll just let him finish this stage first, of course, and not do a game of muscle and interview him halfway through the stage.
Yeah, that's Citroen absolutely blasting through those stages. Beautiful
That's
shell livery. That is the Citroen Xara, I believe. It's not the Lancer that is being shown on screen.
He put Mitsubishi Lancer, so that's his fault. But Dirk, yeah, he completed that stage. A bit of a slow time there, if I'm honest, for Dirk. A few mistakes. And Captain Sparkle's out there already on stage 7, which is actually the second attempt at Collins Crest. And Rain Dancer, there we are. He's just come to Collins Crest now on the left, hitting it full pace. And he is on stage 6 here, which is Vargashan. And he's coming to the end of it here. 4:45 is what Emphatic sent. What can Rain Dancer do out here in his 98 Impreza?
Yeah, interesting with the choice of sunglasses as well. He's trying to cut through the bright sunlight that is here in Sweden. Rounding that left-hander just clips the snowbank, but that's not going to slow him down. He is absolutely focused right now on the ground in front of him. He's just flowing through Sweden absolutely beautifully and keeping that car right within the pit, right within the lines.
Yeah, he is. Keeping it on the I don't know what to call it, the gravelly-ish stuff. He keeping it on
Yeah.
the heights. Of course, the way these cars designed, square right, he's going through now, absolutely full tilt, and he's coming to the line a little bit slower than Emphatic actually. So Emphatic's setting some good times, but he is in a bit of a slower car there, the Impreza 98 compared to the C4. But B-Roy on the left, Rain Dancer on the right, and B-Roy, I believe, out there on stage 5 here, which stage 6, sorry, which is Storjagen. Storjagen? How would you say that, TK?
Storage Jargon. Yeah, I'd say
Storj.
Jargon.
It's Storjagen.
Story Jargon, yeah.
Yangan? Storjagen? No. It's
We're going to be
something in Swedish.
corrected in chat so
Yeah.
quickly.
So BY's out there at the moment, and we do have a service on the next stage. So that means we'll wait until a few interviews until then. But we do indeed have. Oh, there we are. BY going over Collins Crest for the second time, and absolutely pushing through it. So that's good to see. And only Vic on the right. Just looking at a replay, I believe that will be of stage 5 that she is currently on. So yeah, going on to stage six, which is Story Jargon. And we do have Punju and Captain Sparkles out there as well. I think they're just coming to the end of their run on it too. But Punju just finishing there, so he has finished over the line in 11th on that stage. And Captain Sparkles a little bit slower, but yeah, that's fine thing. I don't think he has actually finished 84th. He's just highlighting it over whoever that person is. So fair enough. Yeah, going well so far. We do have a service for them next up. So actually, we could probably speak to them. We have already spoken to Punji before. Should we see if we can nab Captain Sparkles? And oh no, he's just muted up. So that generally means that he's not up for it. But Dirk, when we have Dirk go over the next stage, we'll certainly have him come in. But let's get Punju in and talk through his stages so far. That'd be good to have. Punju, there we are. We're getting you in once again. You've just completed Story Yangan, gone over Collins Quest 2 times. We saw you hit it the first time, and you absolutely you nailed it. Really, it seemed very nice.
I love Colin's Crest. It's my favorite thing in the world, dude. I will take every chance I can to absolutely send that thing. And yeah, the first stage when I did it the first time around, it was good. But that whole stage was a bit of a howler. This stage though, this time around, where it's just the back half of that last one, oh, so much better. I was flying.
Yeah, we did see you make a little mistake. It was a little bit of a spin out there on one of the stages, and we just saw you
Yep.
gesticulate to your camera, just go forward, and
Yep.
yeah, hopefully we could have a little bit of replay of Colin's Quest here too, just
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
flying through it.
dude. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a backside, because obviously the next stage we're about to do it backwards. You'll see what happens when you go over it backwards. It's so sketchy. You end up nosing the car when you land. It's pretty intense. But going on it forwards, like it's so committed. It's so fun.
And how are you doing damage wise out there? You do have a bit of a service now.
I don't. I think I might have exhaust, and that's it.
Right,
Maybe
okay,
some
so
light bodywork.
I mean, that's a completely different story to what I am. I'm always like, oh, I really want to fix the bodywork, but I can never fix it. So
Oh
I just
no!
can't afford it.
Oh no, dude.
That's literally every service. Like, oh, I can't fix the bodywork again. Oh well.
I mean, it is like in these cars, it's not as important. To be fair, if you're in
Yeah,
like the modern WRC, oh, you need that bodywork tip top because otherwise you got no aero,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
That's
bad.
that's bad. Yeah, well, I can tell that because I didn't even make it to the end of last week. But I tell you what, Lola's in chat was saying, who thought Kenya with Group B would be a good idea? Panju, can you answer that question?
I did. I did. I thought it
I,
was a great idea. That's me. That's
I mean,
me.
set up very, very, specific at Group Kenya next week.
Yep.
And you need to have the right setup so you don't damage the car
Big
on
time.
the constant undulations and potholes. Are
Yeah.
you thinking about that a little bit? Are you excited about next week with the Group B
Uh,
cars?
Actually have done Group B Kenya many times on my own stream. Like I genuinely love the car track combo. I picked every single car track combo for this season based off of something that's been historically possible. Next week, the WRC actually does go to Kenya. It's going to go to Kenya in a few days.
Right.
Actually, I think the weekend after is when it
Yeah.
goes to Kenya. So we're going to be running the Kenyan stage, and then like 5 days after that, they're going to go and do it in real life. However, Kenya's been on the calendar for WRC since like the 50s. So they
Yeah.
ran Group B. They had it in real life. So I was like, hey, let's put that in. 1997 to 2011s, they did run Rally Sweden, which is why it's here. So
Yeah.
every single car track combo is something that happens in real life at some point.
I've been watching so much Rally Sweden on YouTube over the last week or so.
It's
So much.
awesome, isn't it?
All the highlights on the WRC, like it's like full length. It's so good. It's just on the YouTube channel. It's so
Yes.
good. But yeah, fantastic puncher. I'll let you get back to it. You're still doing incredibly well out there, I must say.
Thank you so
But
much.
I'll move you back in as we look to have Dirt complete Stora Young. And look at that, Rob knowing exactly where I was going to go, following my mind straight away. And TK, how are you doing? What are you seeing out there that's thrilling you at the moment?
I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely loving seeing our creators put to a different challenge. It's like seeing Kimi Räikkönen or Sebastian Vettel race in the race of champions. We often see it in the off-season, challenging some of the esports guys quite notably in the past few years. But seeing these guys absolutely be challenged by different conditions, by snowy weather, which I think you'd never be racing under in Formula One. It's a fantastic opportunity to see a different side of these guys, a completely different skill set.
Yep, so Dirk Chocolate just going over the line there, and he's not hooked it up perfect today. He is in that Mitsubishi Lancer, which is maybe one of the slower cars, 73rd position on that one, and yeah, that was a 2:59 for context. Should we pull Dirk Chocolate in? Let's pull Dirk Chocolate in and have a quick chat with the Red Bull man driving that Mitsubishi this week. How is it going out there for you so far?
Some may be good, some may be bad.
Cleaned up perfectly.
Yeah, I've had some really good stints, and then I've had some absolute howlers. I beat Punju on one of the stints, so it's like
Really?
it's weird. If it flows, it flows. If it doesn't, then I'm screaming I can't see for the most part.
Because I mean, last week you were speaking about how much you were looking forward to the snow of the most northern rally that we actually are going to race in our series and in rally in general.
Yeah.
Is it just you've not had the right time to practice and get in the right mode for this week that's maybe causing that inconsistency?
Nah, it's yeah, it's just rhythm. That's all. It's just rhythm. I'm just trying to get used to it. And to be fair, I don't feel bad. It's just if you make a mistake, it's brutal. If you touch the snowbank, there's some good snowbanks and some bad snowbanks. So some could kill you, some will be fine.
Yeah, but how did you like Colin's Crest on those last couple of stages? The big jump on those stages. Did you take it well?
I took them flat out, and I was absolutely fine. So they were fine. They were good. There were some which caught me off guard. Oh, also I've got to take new tires, so my tires are dead. I've had these tires since stage 1.
You've had those tires
Ooh.
in stage 1, right? Okay,
Yeah.
that's a mistake me and producer Rob actually made on our rallies. So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's done a space coast.
But it just means now because I felt them die and I was like so I had to drive it differently. But now we're getting some new tires and I'll be fine. This is great. Look at that fly. Did anyone see that jump?
Oh,
That jump was
yes.
sick.
Yeah,
So I
lovely,
took
lovely
that
stuff.
completely flat. But yeah, I think I'll be fine for the rest of the stages now. I have two new tires again.
Yep, you do have a service now. You can repair that.
Oh,
body damage. Just
there
about
it is.
There we are. It's steering okay? Like, what's looking? Because we spoke to Punji, he was like, "Yeah, I've just got some exhaust damage. Fine, I fixed it." Like,
Steering's fine. I'm just
Yeah.
having to use my rear. There, literally, I took that going. I'm gonna have to use my rear end to put my foot down so I can get grip on the exit. Because that's the only way I can turn it at the moment. Because the rears, there's no grip on the rears. If you watch how I drive, it's always with the rear end.
yeah. Well, yeah, generally quite nice, except from the parts which are not so good, as you highlighted at the start. TK, anything for Dirk?
No, just fantastic drive. Obviously, remember the tyre difference. Make sure you change them. They're always good for new tyres, but slightly different mindset from last week out. You don't have the different types of tyres. It's all just snow tyres this time around.
It
So
is
maybe
all
just
snow tyres.
one less thing to think about for yourselves.
Yeah, definitely. It actually helps a lot. So, yeah, change the tires straight away, and then I am off to beat some Punjus. I think I am going to be Punju. That's what my target now.
Yeah, go and Pete Punju. Very, very much look forward to speaking to you towards the end of these stages. And yeah, always good to hear from Dirk Chocolate repping that Mitsubishi. I was looking out for who else would be around. Patterson, maybe. In fact, Aerotech's just started running. Oh, and do you know what? I want to rep Aerotech in that Citroen Zara the WRC, which Sebastian Loeb got his first ever wins in. I believe he won Rally Season back in 2004. That is a chef's kiss car choice. And great to have Aerotech running. A quick reinstallation of the game. It's only put him a few stages back. Maybe by the end he'll be back in sick, but I believe this is stage 1 that he's on at the moment, and yeah, very very good to see him out there. Maybe even stage 2 actually, but judging by the time of day, but not quite sure with that one. But yeah, very very good to see Aerotech out there, isn't it, TK?
Yeah, running through stage 1 by the sounds of it, according to what we've got on our data stuff. But yeah, looking quite cool, calm, and at the moment just figuring his way through the snow of Sweden. Lots of little corrections on that wheel. Very, very locked in and focused though.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can keep a bit more of an eye on this. Give Aerotech his time in the summer. I was looking at him and just seeing because in the background we have Carbon Shadow sorting out and running this show, making it so much better this week by telling us where people are on stage and when they have started and when they have finished. It's been very very good. So thank you very much. Big shout out to Carbon Shadow for sorting us out with that one. And yeah, he's just showed us as Aerotech has started. And he's basically got some white columns, and I was looking at Aerotech and he's going to get it installed in time. But here he is through stage 1, I believe, and he will be looking to set a decent time here. I think this will be around a 5-minute 10, 5-minute 12. Maybe a little bit higher than that actually, but still a good time, and we can get some comparisons with him in as we go forward. As our drivers do look to take on stage 7, which is Sun, which is quite a quick stage, a 2-minute 28 stage, the reverse of what we just did with Story Youngen, I believe. And yeah, they've just had service, so they should be super quick through there.
Yeah, indeed, and obviously Collins Crest having the reverse, I believe, of no, I've got myself completely wrong here, haven't I?
No, it's Collins Crest is reverse.
Yeah, it is the reverse of Collins Crest.
Trust your
My
instincts,
notes,
DK. Trust
yeah,
your
my
instincts.
notes were slightly wrong, so there we go. We'll stick with that. But yeah, as we spoke to Punju earlier, it can really nose the car out when you go over it the second time. Really starts to ground out that front bumper. So a lot of repairs potentially coming later in the stages, but they will have to bear that in mind. How much do they want to send it over Collins Crest in reverse?
Yep. So I believe Punju, Captain Sparkles will be just coming towards the end of that stage now. Of course, it's very early on into the stage. So Punju, I believe, has just come to the end of his stage or paused for some reason. Captain Sparkles, he's done it in 3 minutes and 11 there. So he's 87th overall through that stage. So good pace from old Sparkly Pants there. Patterson and B-Roy out there. They're coming towards the end of the stage. Very snowy conditions out there for this stage 7 Sun, which is yeah, it's an interesting stage. It's again just taking that Collins Crest differently. You have a really steep climb, and maybe we can go over to Emphatic and Dirk to see them actually take this stage in its entirety. So we've missed quite a few people on here.
Yeah, indeed. It's a really beautiful shot. If you can get the drivers just focused going over Collins Crest, it's right at the start of the stage. Dirk just fixing stuff up on the right hand side of your screens in his service period, making sure the car. Well,
It still
I
looks
was going to say
terrible.
in tip-top shape, but it is not looking
You know
at
what?
all drivable.
When I did the stages, he mocked me so hard for what my car looked like. Look at, I mean, okay, my one was probably in a little bit worse shape, but Dirk has had many more hours on this game than I have, and that car looks a little bit higgledy-piggledy, I must say, even after the service.
Yeah, you can tell he might have rolled that or crashed it just a few times, looking like your average 17-year-old's car after their first adventure on snow or ice. But these guys, very experienced on the snow, and Emphatic now not far off from the infamous Collins Crest as we head through the sector. It's not sector, stage number 7.
I mean, we are in sectors on the stages, so we could have
Well, yeah.
you could have still got away with that one here. But here we are. We're going to head uphill here, and Emphatic full screen. Ignore that car. He's actually in the Citroen C4, which is of course the other car that Sebastian Loeb absolutely dominating, climbing up the hill through here, and there is a jump, and he knocks the little advertising hoarding as he went through, and that just off-settled Emphatic. And yeah, some clenched lips there as he went through there. He's a very lucky boy to stay facing the right direction after all that.
Yeah, ironically, actually, clipping that advertising board might have saved his front bumper. He didn't ground out that front as much as you would typically do if you took Collins Crest flat. We'll have a look here. I think Dirk Chocolate's not caught too far off it himself. Again, running up the hill. The crest is almost blind at this point for the drivers. Over he goes, and he will absolutely ground out that front barrier.
He really did. Yeah, that would be a bit of damage to the front suspension and certainly that front bumper bodywork. But to be honest, it's already toast if you look at it anyway. So, Emphatic going through here on Sun, which is stage 7 of 12 in this round 2 of the WRC EA Creator Series Club. And yeah, fantastic to see Emphatic make his first outing. The Ferrari esports driver versus the Red Bull esports driver. And Emphatic just looking super on the pace. He is a pacey driver, let's face it.
He is indeed. He's one of those guys that he will be able to pull out speed from every opportunity, really finding himself here in the rally courses as well. He had to settle down a bit, maybe not take it as eagerly as he would have in the Formula One, but once he's found his rhythm, he'll be one of those drivers that will be very difficult to try and catch.
Yep, so I'm just actually trying to have a quick scoot through to see exactly where he is
It's all
in the
gone
standings
wrong.
overall. Some people I want to shout out. James Early at this point was actually he's had a big moment, hasn't he, TK?
He has indeed. I didn't want to interrupt you there,
No,
but it has
you can
all
always
gone
interrupt
wrong.
me.
It has all gone wrong for Emphatic. He found himself on his roof, clipped one of the advertising boards that did send the Citroen absolutely rolling through the snow. He was fortunate to be able to recover it, and he's still on his way.
Yeah, he's still on this way. He's got a little bit of a right-hander here that yeah will come very close to the end of the stage and just clipping that snowbank on the end there. I mean, you don't want to pick up too many damages on these post-service stages because it will cost you. You've, of course, longest time. It's like getting damage into turn 1 of the lap. You've got all the way that you've got to wait all that time. You've got to go a full rotation at the longest time before the next service as he parks it up there. And Dirk Chocolate may have beaten him overall on that stage. We'll see what time Emphatic scored there. But Dirk Chocolate coming towards the stop point control now. We have the final, there we are, 304 for Dirk Chocolate, and Emphatic, I believe, was a little bit slower than that, wasn't he?
Yeah, ever so slightly. Obviously, the roll and the time spent on his roof really not helping out the Ferrari driver here in the beautiful Citroen C4. And he looks to start the next stage. Just pause for a brief moment as he gets himself prepped. The next stage being Lobster Home, I believe.
Love Starholm. Yeah, I have no idea. Dirk Chocolate. Yeah, 70th on that stage. Emphatic. I have no idea what Emphatic's ID is. If I'm honest.
97th in the world, I believe, is where
He's
he's at.
97th. So yeah, that was yeah, quite just a tad bit slower, about 7 seconds. But there we are. That is the difference of about 24 places, 27 places. Sorry. So yeah, look at that. There we are. Working magic in the background. Rob's updated him to be the Citroen C4 WRC.
Oh,
Shout out to producer Rob, everyone. And actually, you can go and see all the work that producer Rob does in the background by going to A Space Ghost, all one word, on Twitch, and he is streaming the production inside, so you can hear him berating me for saying all of the names wrong. You know, it's absolutely go over there, give him a sub. We really appreciate all the work that Rob does, because this is quite a complex setup to bring this WRC broadcast to all of you. And yeah, he does fantastic work week in, week out at the Creator Series, not just on this broadcast, but also the F1 broadcast as well. So thank you very much to Rob here as Dirk Chocolate just watching through his replay of this stage. B-Roy out there, look at that pitch black as he heads on to stage 8.
yeah, I believe this is the stage a few of the drivers before the show got started were talking about doing without lights. They wanted to do a little bit of a challenge between themselves, not necessarily running for the best time, but driving this night course without their headlights on.
I do believe that they should absolutely, have their lights on B-Roy and Patterson. Certainly B-Roy, he was all over the sides anyway. We also have Punju out there. Look at that, 4 wide we go as Punju finishes that stage, 4-minute 37. 4-minute 8 is the world record pace. So again, Punju not ever further than 30 seconds away on these kind of mid-length stages. Yeah, showing superb pace. Punju 20th overall on that stage. So yeah, very, very decent pace from himself. Not been averaging about where he's been, about 13th position, 12th position is where he is overall before going into that stage. But yeah, very decent from him. Captain Sparkles in that 98 Impreza that gives you shades of Colin McRae. I think Colin McRae won his a 90 in a 95 Impreza, won his only world rally championship. Once I can get my words out, and Captain Sparkles heading down the hill now towards stop point control, and he's going to do this for reference a bit slower, about 30 seconds slower, just under this stage. So none of these people taking the challenge of turning the lights off here. I think they're all wanting to do it. Only Vic in the top left-hand corner now. Patterson in the bottom left-hand corner as only Vic picks up a bit of a reset penalty there.
Yeah, I think it's rather sensible. You do want to keep your lights on. It is pitch black if you do decide to turn them off. Like you said, Punju just a few moments ago getting himself through again within 30 seconds of the world record every single time. Consistency is key. He could push to try and shave 10 seconds off that lap time, or the sector time rather. But in the long run, it's not going to pay off for him. Consistency will work out. The points will come his way, and at the end of the stage, that will really matter.
Yep. So we can also maybe get an update on Aerotech after this one. He's running a little bit behind the schedule. The others, Patterson's upside down. Not the ideal line through that corner.
No, it's all gone wrong for the Yorkshireman. A little bit of a gesture there to the camera as well. Frustration coming out for Patterson. He will not be happy with that. He's been practicing very hard. I know he's been away this weekend, but hopping on, trying to get these stages sorted is a real tough challenge in itself.
I mean, the challenge really is get to the end. That's the big thing. And oh, there we are, big moment through that corner, and yeah, spinning it full rotation. A bit of a rally moment for himself there. Aerotech top right hand corner. He is currently coming towards the end of this stage 209 that he's on, and I believe it was stage 3 Alshon, which is yeah, one of my favorite stages that he's just done. And a 209 is a very respectable time in that older Citroen Zara WRC car.
Yeah, he looks happy with that. He's got a lot of catching up to do. He's currently on just finished stage 3 and heading into 4 at the moment, but a little bit happy with that beautiful purple hair, by the way.
Yeah, lovely. I think at this rate he won't be too far behind at the end, to be honest. So we'll see. He can just go straight into it. He could go in out in out. He does have his first service now, so maybe we can keep that up in the top right corner. See what damage he has. That car looking in very good shape. He's picking the new tires out straight away. Don't forget to do that. And he's also tweaking the tuning as well here. So he's giving himself a little bit more top end speed. Just going in there very confidently here to change that. So he knows that there's going to be a few longer stages later on. He wants more top end speed in that car, adding to that final drive ratio. But he hasn't gone on. Oh, yeah, he's going to go to repairs. He has fixed his bodywork. A quick fix. There we are. Look, a very clean run from Aerotech. And yeah, fixing the aero on his car as well.
Yeah, very respectable run and a minimal damage picked up on that Citroen through the bunch of stages, shall you say. That will be good to replicate as he keeps going. Again, consistency is going to be the key here.
Yep. So currently we have only Vic, Riff Blondie out on the 8th stage, and B Roy's just completed it. So he is put in his time for that one. And I tell you what, let's go over to the RaceNet standings as they are and see where everyone was at the end of stage 7, which was Sun. As soon as we can do that, just to get an idea of where people are running. And hello, everyone. And we can go over to stage 7 after a quick refresh and make sure we get everyone in here. So Punju, he is currently 14th on that stage. He's looking super quick. But if we go to overall, yeah, this is overall. In fact, he's only 2-minute 4 down on the fastest runners. If we can cycle through these a little bit, we can see a Space Ghost is in 113th position overall. So that's our producer Rob. Just so we all know, PG Turney, of course, the Codemasters wizard behind the WRC socials. He's in 23rd, so he's done a very respectable run to this point. Cycling a little bit through again, we can see some other people. So on this one, we have Rain Dancer in P58. He is currently 4-minute 8 off the time. James Early, he's in 52nd position. It'd be great to have James Early on one of these broadcasts as well. I'm a big fan of his content. He's also gone for the Citroen Zara WRC, so a man after my own heart. He's 3 minutes 43 down at this stage, so he's done very well here.
Yeah, really interesting choice of cars throughout the creators here, just flicking through continually as well. Riff Blondie in P66, there's a few others just dotting about as well. So really spread out, really kind of everyone getting themselves involved. Dirk Chocolate 93, B-Roy 86 there, and Patterson 98, just holding it below that 100th mark.
Yep. Hoodie Pete's in P19. Is Hoodie Pete really in P19? Oh, P90. Okay, he's in P90. Just ahead of Captain Sparkles. And I believe Emphatic was in P70 as we cycled through there. So interesting to have an understanding there. Punju looking set to pick up another 25 points here. He's actually in 69th position, which is very nice for him. So yeah, fantastic to see everything so far with that. We can go back to our rallying, and I believe it's Nap Journet, which is stage 10 that Punju and Captain Sparkles have started. But we do have Aerotech out there on stage. Emphatic top right, he's just completed Loverstum. And yeah, only Vic in the bottom right corner. So good to see. The next service is after the stage 10, which is Sprickbrenner. So we are a couple of stages away from the final service. Punju halfway through this track at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. I wanted to go back very quickly. We won't pull the standings back up, but Space Ghost beating Carbon Shadow on the things as well. Obviously, we like to give Rob a shout out when we can. And of course, Carbon Shadow, who's also working very hard behind the scenes, helping us out, knowing who's on what stages. But Punju and Captain Sparkles, as well as Paston and B-Roy at the moment, all on stage number 9. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce this one.
What, Napchadet?
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, I don't know.
Napturne is probably the best I'm going to do.
Napchadet is what we're going to go for. If you're Swedish and you're in chat, feel free to send hate mail to my address. I'm absolutely fine with that. So square left coming up for Punju. And again, just looking very on it. Maybe overcooking it a little bit through there and riding the snowbank. And yeah, he doesn't want to do that too many times, of course. I mean, it could go wrong so quickly in this series at this stage. I mean, if he's just pushing a little bit too hard, gets a puncture, and then pushes again, being away from that service point is so difficult to limp into the stage. And if you do pick up damage, the big thing is to mentally reset, cast it aside, but also remember that you just want to get to the end of the stage and limit that damage. Because once things start to be off with the setup, your muscle memory starts to be a little bit out as Punchy comes to a big jump here. Let's see him push through there. Oh, nice bit of air there for him. And yeah, he just needs to make sure he keeps it consistent because it can easily go from a very good day to a very bad day in rally.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We were speaking, of course, with Dirk Chocolate earlier, saying he completely forgot to change his tyres. So that, of course, will be a factor in our drivers' minds. How much they look after the car will indeed affect how fast they're able to drive through these rally stages. New tyres, of course, meaning more grip on this snow. And I'll tell you what, there is nothing but snow out here in Sweden.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, quite a cold rally. I mean, maybe the only time it wasn't really like these conditions was back in 2005, where it was very gravelly. And of course, the way the tires work. So in traditional snow setups, they are thin tires, which doesn't make much sense. But actually, the physics of the car pushing down on those thinner tires makes a smaller contact area and allows it to push through the top level snow and into the ice, and the metal spikes will then stick in. But in that case, they had those snow tires on, but they were ripping through them because all these metal studs were being pulled out by the lack of snowy conditions. So that's why we moved away from farmland, which is a shame because that was basically where Rally Sweden was held for 69 editions, and then it was moved a little bit north to a territory I've completely forgotten the name of, but I have made a note of it on my phone. So while I spiel just a little bit, Umia is where it is nowadays. But of course, the game actually replicates the stages of Varmland, which is nice to see. Maybe we'll see Umia in further iterations of the game.
Yeah, we'd love to see as the development goes on for some of these stages, bringing in some of the newer Swedish stages. But of course, I for one am a very big fan of historic stages, not just in World Rally, but in some other games as well. Like we said, the F1 Creator Series, and yeah, fantastic seeing some of the old generations of cars and tracks being brought in here.
A little update from Kamikaze. He has sent me a picture of his setup, and I can confirm that is definitely not a G29. It's an absolute beastly setup. I think he just wanted me to confirm that that was not a G29. Yeah, he does have an absolutely beastly setup. It's not surprising. I mean, we've got a little bit clip of him before stage 12. Which is the final stage of him giving it a full beans, showing how an esports driver takes the first two sectors off Hoff Fingskog, the final sector, but the final one. But actually, we have most of our creators out there at the moment on Napjanet, which is stage 9, I believe. And yeah, just going through it at the moment. Riff Blondie in the top right hand corner, a little bit earlier in the stage. Only Vic also a little bit earlier in the stage. B-Roy and Patterson, of course, paired up against each other. They're a lot closer on the stage as B-Roy goes upside down. And that's the worst feeling. When it doesn't roll itself back onto its wheels, you know you're taking a reset penalty. And that's an extra 12 seconds added to B-Roy's time. The man from Florida not liking the cold conditions.
Yeah, those reset penalties will really start to hamper some of our drivers. 12 seconds might not seem like a lot when we're talking about 5-6 minute stages here, but they can really mean absolutely everything in terms of those final few positions when it comes to the end of all 12 stages.
Yep. So if we go on board with full on board with Riff Blondie, actually, because she's doing decently well. Annoyingly, can't see her delta, but here we are. Riff Blondie pushing there, big no bank coming towards us. That was a bit very dramatic, but very dark conditions on this stage, and I believe it is going to be quite early in the day. No, actually, it's night on this stage, so snowy conditions, nighttime conditions. If you turn the lights off, you are absolutely seeing nothing.
No, it's and very heavy snowfall to boot as well. So a really bad mix of two weather conditions as we see her run onto the snow, banking, get it all kind of loose in that Super Impreza. And just managing to find her feet once again through the square left. They run now down to pretty much a straight track, but almost off the banking on the left-hand side. Confidence not doing too great.
Yep. So coming towards the final 3 sectors here on this half-length 10.5 kilometer stage. and we are pushing forward. Look at this. Rob's sorting out the telemetry so we can see that in the bottom right hand corner. Don't worry about it, Rob. We can live without the delta. It's absolutely fine. Yeah, we could talk about Rob. Rob could be either of our producers, I reckon. But yeah, we got, of course, A Space Ghost being our producer Rob in the background. So here we are pushing forward, and just coming towards the end of this one, a little few mistakes for there, a little bit deep into that right hander as well, and yeah, just doing very decent on this time lap, I think, and doing a very good time. And I think she's the only person running that 2001 Impreza.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. A lot of people are either choosing the late 90s or the 2008 Impreza, both, of course, different versions of the same car, just different years. But maybe just locking in just a little bit more than we saw earlier, those earlier mistakes, not coming back to haunt Rift Blondie as much as we may have thought.
Yep. We are going to be bringing B-Roy into an interview after this stage, but we will just watch Riff Blondie complete this stage at the moment and talk through B-Roy and how he's been finding it. Let's pull him in now, actually, and just keep an eye on, maybe keep these 2x2 as we talk to B-Roy, the man from Florida. Not particularly loving those snowy conditions, but do you feel more confident of making it the end of the race this week?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, these conditions have been really brutal to me. The corrections that I've tried to make have just ended in complete failure. I mean, I've just gotten 2 stages in a row with 42 seconds worth of penalties. So that's kind of completely killed my rally. But I mean, if I can finish, I'll be happy, but it's not looking good.
If you finish, it's point.
You're having a laugh, mate.
Yeah, you've got to keep in front of a Space Ghost. That's the big one to beat because he is a complete novice. And you have, look, Space Ghost is being destroyed by the man from Florida here. How are you finding that in Pretza 2008? Is it just a bit of a handful?
Yeah, it's like I don't know why. I don't know if it's a game mechanic or if it's just me, but the car just seems like it wants to veer to the left or the right. It's just more like a car thing. It's just not handling to myself. I was actually gonna pick the Lancer, and I was like, you know what? Nah, Subaru's so iconic. I'm gonna do it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Mitsubishi's way of telling me, yeah, you made the wrong decision today. But I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say I was enjoying myself.
Everyone made the wrong decision, B-Boy. Everyone should have gone with the Peugeot 306. That car is, yeah, the one I chose to do it in, at least. Yeah. So, do you think you can make it to the end of the rally this week? That surely has to be goal one.
Genuinely, yes. I've had some decent success here in the S2000s. And right now, like with as much, there's definitely not as much damage as we were in Finland last week. So definitely these cars are suiting to me a tiny bit more, not by much. But honestly, if I can just make it to the end, I'll be proud of myself.
Excellent. Well, appreciate you joining the box, B-Roy, and we'll let you go and head on to Spickbrenner, stage 10 of today's event. And yeah, I feel like, do we have time to speak to some more people at the moment? I think 8:55. So Patterson's just finished, and we can pull him in. So Patterson, the man who's been facing off with B-Roy in the head-to-heads, he is giving us a cheeky wave. How are you doing, Patterson? How you
I'm doing very well. I think the car doesn't look too bad. I was expecting it to look much worse.
It's got body pieces, right? Like
It does.
That's stage one.
The bonnet is, looking a bit fluffy, but yeah, it will be there. We'll be fine after this this
That will
repair.
bash out. Don't worry about that.
It
Just a
will.
quick hammer on that. That's the Yorkshire way of dealing with any rally damage, surely.
Look at that.
So you do have the services here. You do have the services at the start of the stage, and how much damage do you have to repair? Oh, it's perfect. It looks great.
I've done it all now, so we're looking good.
Yep. New
We're
set of
looking good.
tires. Do you think you're running better this week than you did last week? Of course, you were one of the people who did make it to the end last week.
Yes, I do think I'm definitely running better. The snow has definitely thrown a spanner in the works for me though, because I didn't manage to get practicing, and that has now shaken things up over here.
Yep. And TK, anything for Patterson?
No, obviously, final stage where you can do these preparations and the adjustments to your car. What's your mentality heading into the final few stages? Of course, it's pretty much flat out for the final three now. Are you going to send it, or are you still a little bit reserved on the snow?
Um, I'm gonna go reserved, and the reason why I'm gonna go reserved and I normally would send it is because I'm only 20 seconds behind Dirk in the overall standings, and I really want to beat Dirk. So yeah, we're gonna try and go careful.
It's Patterson v Dirk for the final three stages. Very much good luck to you, Patterson. We will keep an eye
Thank
out on
you.
that battle developing very soon. But I do believe Captain Sparkles and Punju have headed out on to Spickbrenner, which is one that I feel like I am saying correctly. So I'm going to say it so many times on this stage. And then someone's going to correct me and say I've done it completely wrong. Captain Sparkles and Punju both out there at the moment in Pretza and the Mini Countryman, respectively. And Punju, someone who's been so impressive in this series already. Of course, a big rally fan, a big person that's behind the scenes putting this show all together. And a big thanks to Punju for his work week in, week out to be able to bring us this WRC club. Yeah, he's going through Sector 2 now, and just the way he uses those snowbanks is just so impressive.
Yeah, it uses them pretty much to keep that car on a straight and narrow. It's a different technique from what we usually see from some of our creators, but Punju has absolutely mastered how to use them to his advantage here.
Yeah, so a 1 minute 17 for him so far on this stage. Look at that, just dipping his wheel in, just using it. Here we are, got a big hairpin turn coming up, so he'll need to put that in. This is, of course, a bit of a stage preview of our final stage. I believe this is half the stage of Hofsvingsblog that we run up to. So yeah, this is one half of that stage that we can show. And to be honest, in a little bit, I may just show off some rally clips. I'll give the go ahead for when we are going to do that. But while they are on this longer stage, I would like to highlight some of the stuff that people have done. And indeed, I think we can go over and share those rally clips right now. And this is Guru going for an almost perfect roll for the first time, but a less perfect roll through there. So that was an interesting thing for him. And we'll cut away from that later on. We will see Hofsvingsbog's from Kamikaze's point of view, and I'm very much looking forward to showing you how the esports drivers take it because he's absolutely nailed that stage. But Captain Sparkle's out here pushing well. I mean, it's been a good debut from Captain Sparkles. He's kept it quite safe. The car has always looked generally in one piece. A few bumps and fills here and there, but generally quite well from him.
Yeah, indeed. Probably more used to driving wooden boats than motor cars here, but he's made the switch quite flawlessly. Currently running through the 11.1 kilometer stage of Spickbrenner. A lot of opportunities to make it wrong, but so far, making it very right indeed.
Yep. I was just about to pull Riff Blondie in for an interview, but what time is she set to go at? 8:59. So I think we've just missed a window with that one, which is unfortunate. But we'll see if we can get Aerotech in for an interview. Of course, we haven't interviewed some of our people out there so far. Yeah, that's a shame. But we'll hopefully try and pull those in, of course, towards the end. Try and get through as many of our creators as possible. Dirk Chocolate and Punju. We've already had the likes of them and B-Roy as well. But yeah, Captain Sparkles just a little bit deep into that right hander there. And yeah, I mean, it's not been like perfect, quickest running from Captain Sparkles, but the fact he's just consistently keeping it on track, I think that's just one of the most important things because you can make up so much time in these final stages when people's prepare bill really is starting to take a toll on them.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it consistent, and like we said, it's not going to be who gets the quickest run overall. It's going to be keeping consistent, keeping that repair bill low. And in terms of payback, that's really going to come help you in the later stages of the race. We haven't seen any major incidents from Sparkles yet. No rolls or major bumps really. As almost I thought we had a bit of a commentator's curse, a little bit of a kick out there from the Subaru, but again keeps it calm, puts the brakes on a little bit, and just corrects the car.
Yep, so impressive stuff. And yeah, Punju, of course. Oh, there we are. That's a bit of a crash. And I tell you what, that's why I did my 21 flips. 100%. That is why I did my 21 flips. And Punju only managing one or two there, rookie numbers there for Punju, and very very disappointing that he didn't flip that a little bit more. But then it got again off twice. So when you make one mistake in rallying, it's so easy just to try and get back in the flow and realize the flow's kind of gone, and you have to kind of build yourself back up to it. So Punju, yeah, having a few uncharacteristic mistakes here.
Yeah, you can tell the mentality's gone a little bit. He's unfocused. He keeps looking up at chat for reassurance that he is doing okay. And I think he's just got to lock back into his rhythm. He was in a fantastic rhythm in these opening stages, letting absolutely nothing distract him. And again, those eyes, you can see it, locked on the screen, focused once again. And Punju could be being Punju once again.
Yep. So Punju back on course, and luckily, I don't think he's spanned his car really too much. I think it seems to be fine, but you don't want to pick up, a couple of punctures on the stage, because that's where it can easily all go wrong. And this is exactly where it went wrong for me. I was about 2 minutes up on producer Rob going into the stage, and I ended up 3 minutes down, and with a whole stage to run with only 3 tires. So that's how easy it is to go wrong. And if you want to take part in the EA Sports Creator Series WRC Club, you simply don't need to buy the game, which I believe is on sale at the moment, and also just pop over to RaceNet, go to partner clubs. There we are, Creator Series Club. You've got until 7 in the morning tomorrow UK time to actually put a Swedish time in, so there's still time for people to go and upset the apple cart at the top with Kamikaze if you feel like you've got the speed to do it. But also, we've got Rally Kenya next week in those Group B cars. We've spoken about it a bit earlier with Punju. And that's going to be a very fascinating race, a very high rate of attrition, that one, because it does have a lot of damage on the cars.
Yeah, completely different race standards from what we see in Sweden here this week. We're swapping snow for gravel and dust, and it will completely change how these guys will have to change the cars. Vic there in the top right hand, just doing a lovely little barrel roll, not necessarily ruining her time, but just adding a bit of flair to her driving.
Do you know what? When you hit a barrel roll and it just lands perfectly on the tires, I'm not sad about it.
No.
I'm not sad about it. It's only when it slides along on the roof for about 100 meters where you're like, I just want to reset, man. I just want to get on with my day. But only Vic really hitting into that snowbank there, which wasn't ideal. B-Roy all over it in the bottom left-hand corner, and freezing out so much that going so crazy. His Twitch stream actually cut out there for a second. But really, really pushing hard. He said earlier to us that he's just not quite enjoying these conditions, and he's really just hoping to get to the end. And I think that would be a big improvement for Dioi, who of course was a person who was out of terminal damage. But actually, I tell you what, we're going to go over and we're going to pull in Captain Sparkles, who is going to be joining us.
I
Hello,
hit a couple like
Sparkles.
very flexible
Hello. Sorry,
on the
we
line.
just pulled you in for an interview. Are you happy to have an interview?
Sure thing. I've got, like 3 minutes till the next thing, I think.
Yes. Okay. If you got, we'll just have to ask a few quick questions. We're keeping it in mind with, of course, that you are in it. How are you finding it so far? It's your first EA Sports WRC Creator Series event. So, of course, we saw you in WGC earlier on with Punju previously.
Yeah, it's very fun. My goal for this whole thing has just been to not finish in last place, and so far that apparently is happening. I haven't checked after that last stage, but I just started playing the rally game with that last event, and I find it really fun, almost more so than track driving, because it's almost more like going for a Sunday drive, but you're racing. So it's been really great.
Yeah, I mean, hitting those flows and getting into the mindset, it really is quite exhilarating when you do get it right. In that 98 Impreza, any reason why you went for the oldest car in this class?
I don't know. I feel like that is the car that I most associate with rally. Obviously Colin McRae being, one of the biggest names, and so I just went with kind of the cliche rather than, being smart about why at all.
Well, I tell you what, you've got a minute until you're on the next stage. I'll let you go and attack Asnes and enjoy the full 20 or so kilometers of the stage, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to you at the end. But thank you very much for joining, Captain. And I've dropped him out there, so fantastic to hear from him in the Creator Series. Well, we could just squeeze in a little interview there. And how are we doing out there at the moment? We'll try and get a view of RaceNet as we go into the next service round, and see who's looking for a few times on the final super stage. Of course, we do have a super stage at the end. 2 stages left for the people who've all completed 10 stages so far, and they will be looking forward to that race net because it is an extra 5 points that are available to them.
Yeah, obviously those 5 bonus points will really start to come in and help them. Obviously, those race nets results coming in for round number 10, Spickbrenner, and that could be really crucial. We've got a few drivers just getting themselves in. This is obviously the overall stage results after stage number 10. Some of the guys still completing their laps, only Vic, Riff, Blondie, Infratic and Dirk to name a few. They're still finishing off their stages, but as it looks at the moment, how are we looking for stage 10? I see Vlembar in there as we're quite getting used to. Punju in P17 as well.
Yeah, Punju in P17, PGTNA is in P18 there, so decent for him. Of course, a few times to come in, but I don't think many people are ahead of Punju in pace. In fact, no one is ahead of Punju in pace, let's face it. So PGTNA up into 18th position and climbing a few positions since we last looked at him. We'll come back to that when we get all of our drivers over the line for stage 10, just so we can have a good look at that a little bit later on. But maybe we could just go back to the drivers who are back on stage 9. So we are talking about Dirk Chocolate, Infratic, Only Vic, Patterson. I think has just completed his stage and is looking a quick review of his stage. And there's Dirk Chocolate. I think just about to start stage 10 here, which is Spickbrenner. Oh no, he's just completed it.
Yeah, just completing stage 10 there, having a bit of a look through the leaderboard himself, just determining what whereabouts he stands. And it's really important after you complete the stages, just have a look back, see where things went wrong. Because obviously these guys are doing the stage after stage after stage. You've got to take the opportunity to look back and see where you went wrong and then improve on that through the next few stages.
Yep. Shall we have spoke to Dirks before, but let's pull him in quickly and just see what he's saying about that one. He does have a little bit of time before his next one. He has another 4 minutes. So Dirk, you've just completed stage 10. You don't seem too happy. You seem a bit down in the dumps.
I had a good run, but I got like 20 seconds of penalties, I think. What's that? 20, 30 seconds of penalties. So I'm like, oh. So it was good. I didn't make any major mistakes. I just got I got silly penalties, which is very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Do you feel like generally it's an improvement since your earlier stages because you made quite a few mistakes on those early stages?
Oh yeah, I'm cooking. I'm fine. Like I'm driving absolutely like it's very well. Just silly mistakes, man. It's just silly mistakes, which is really frustrating.
Well, I tell you what, we won't keep you too long because you don't have that long between this one because of course there's no service. But yeah, obviously just rising through the ranks a little bit here. I think you were P90 a couple of stages ago. Now you're P83, so you're getting a few positions out there. So just keep your head down. And these next 2 stages are the 2 longest stages. So
yeah,
I mean, huge times could be made here.
this is what I'm looking forward to. So I can actually like recover quite a lot here, which is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And like I've got new tires. What? Oh wait, I was wondering where I was going backwards. And I'm going. I've got new tires, which is finally.
Well, enjoy the new tires, Dirk, and we will
Thank
surely
you.
speak to you very soon again as we move them out. And yeah, okay. So only Vic's just completed her stage. We'll see if she unmutes. If she does, we'll be able to grab her in for a quick interview as well. But yeah, people gaining a few positions. Actually, Dirk Chocolate, Patterson, very much close on the road. We heard from Patterson earlier. Only 10 seconds between them as they head into stage 11. That is incredibly close, given the amount of kilometers of rallying we've had.
Yeah, lots of kilometers down, and only 10 seconds separating the two of them. That is insanely close. I think it's impressive the two of them have managed to get even within that. If I tried to rally, I'd be well off the pace of any of these guys.
Yep. So we could go and grab Rain Dancer for an interview, actually. And yeah, we haven't been able to speak to him so far. So, Rain Dancer, how are you doing?
13 for PJ.
Creator Series.
Ding
How
dong.
are you finding it out there? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hello? Ground control to Rain Dancer? Hello.
Oh, it's me. It's me. You're talking to me.
You.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Hey, yeah, having a good one. Having a great one. Ambient Mike sort of busted me wearing sunglasses on the to combat the glare of the snow. So
Is that the case? Because they do use like little bifocals in real life, don't they? Those yellow ones. So
yeah,
are you looking full
I think
immersive?
Mike might be reporting me to the stewards now.
Prescription goggles only, please, from this point out. I mean, how you found out that it's your first Creator Series event? Are you enjoying running through the club in parallel with the other creators?
Oh, it's wonderful to be sort of on the clock and to have to keep an eye on the time and to be thinking about how the other competitors are doing. It's having a great time.
Yeah, and how are you feeling out there on the snow? Is it your favorite conditions? What kind of
Oh,
things
look,
have you been expecting from you?
when an Australian drives on snow, that's a time that you get your dash camera out and recording because we don't drive on snow very often. But I think this combination of this car and Sweden is somewhat forgiving. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, of course. You have been in the Impreza 98, one of two people running the 98 car along with Captain Sparkles. Do you just any reason why you picked that car specifically?
Absolutely. It's the only car in this class that is H pattern, and I have to have my dose of H pattern every day.
It's all about the H pattern for you. So you really are taking it
100%.
to that realism and using that. That's really interesting to hear actually. But I tell you what, I'll let you get on with your next stage, and I
Thank
will
you.
drop you back out of the interview. Maybe be able to hear from you at the end and see how you've done overall. But yeah, fantastic to hear from our Australian content creator there, Rain Dancer. Be right out there on stage 11 here, and this is the reverse of the final stage, which is a super stage in that Super Impreza, and not particularly loving the icy conditions. It was B-Roy, but how is he doing, TK?
Yeah, I think he's managing out quite well. I don't think I can say the same for his front bonnet at the moment, rather pitched up with that blue against the white background. But as things stand, doing all right. Penultimate stage for himself, and he's about halfway through. It's going to be a tough, long challenge for these two drivers. Patterson on the right-hand side as well. He's, I believe, about a third of the way through.
Yep. So very similar so far. 4 minutes 25 so far on the road for B-Roy. 4-minute 22. So I would say that B-Roy is actually a little bit further ahead here. So I wonder if Patterson's had any issues out there, which would of course not be great for him because he is looking to try and close down on Dirk Chocolate. 10 seconds was the gap going in to this stage. So we're very, very close. They have been looking to fight all day long. And as we get through the championship, maybe we'll have people a bit closer on stage in comparison to one another. But B-Roy doing quite well on the stage as we go through a very high speed part of this track over the bumps and onto the snowbank for B-Roy.
Yeah, just clipping it on the right-hand side. Manages to keep the car facing the right way. Still in 6th gear, right on that rev limit as well. He is letting nothing up. A little bit of a drift right for the Subaru off the track, though. This, again, just holding it straight. Very, very lucky there for the Floridian.
Yep. So very, very decent. We also have a little bit of an update on Aerotech in a moment. He has absolutely sped through it. He is actually on Spickbrenner, which is the event before this. So he's on the about 10-kilometer event and just starting it now. So he could very much be ending in tandem with other creators, which is a fantastic effort from Aerotech, reinstalling the game and still beating the others to the finish line. That would be something to see, certainly. We could maybe have Aerotech versus Rain Dancer for the final stage at Hof Springs, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Aerotech in the top right corner in that Citroen Zara WRC car, Riff Blondie, Patterson and B-Roy all using the Impreza 2008, and B-Roy using every angle of that Impreza 2008, rolling down the hill on two wheels and finding himself back onto the track.
Yeah, he's just exploring the beautiful oversights that we have here in Sweden. The scenery around it looking absolutely stunning. Props to the graphic designers of this, making the scenery look as realistic as possible. The trees look like something you'd happily go snowboarding in, albeit not whilst these cars are running through it.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. B-Roy is just, he's paid for the game and he wants to explore every single inch
Exactly
of
that.
the track, of the courses, and he's really realistically, B-Roy is getting his money's worth. The other people aren't. That's the case.
Yeah, for every mile these guys do on the rally course, B-Roy probably gets an extra couple of kilometers looking around the rest of the scenery. Whether that's intentional or not, we'll have to ask him later, but he's getting to explore every inch of Sweden at the moment.
So Hoodie Pete in chat, very nice to see you. We did actually have a clip of yours earlier on, Hoodie Pete. You doing some very nice barrel rolling, and he's asking, will B-Roy get points? If he gets to the end of the stage, he will get points in the Creator Series standings. Two separate standings, of course. We have the club standings tracked by RaceNet, via the EA club, and we also have our creator standings. So people who can beat in these events on the channel, live on here, they all go into a separate pot, and it's currently Punju. With no surprise, absolutely dominating that front. So yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season as B-Roy completely loses the bonnet there off the Subaru, flies off as he seemed to clip a bit of debris on the right-hand side, parked his car 90 degrees to the left, so really not having the best of times. It's a really long stage, it's 21.5 kilometers through this stage, and again, another reset penalty there.
Yep, Hoss Fingskog being one of the ones that's very much replicated on a real life stage through the old Varmland section, I believe. So yeah, it's a very interesting race. Not sorry, it's actually Inlandet. It's actually based around, not Varmland. So just corrected myself a little bit there, but this is the reverse of Hoss Fingskog. So we run this stage backwards and forwards. So it is double that. They'll run 40 kilometers of rating, but at the end of the stage, they do have their final service, and it's a long service, so it's a short service, so they can fix any of the little issues that they have. But if they've got any big issues that they may be carrying in, maybe one or two that don't make it to the end, we saw that last week. Onivik and BY just not managing to get to the end of the rally, terminal damage having their way, but Punju, he's finished out there, and the first to finish, of course, he's the person who's leading the championship, so does run first. 17th overall, a 10-minute 40, only 46 seconds after that many kilometers of rallying off an esports driver. That shows the pace of Punju.
Yeah, fantastic there from Punju. It seems no matter what the stage is, he's always about 30 seconds off the lead pace within the group. I do want to have a mention for Sparkles, though. We mentioned we have one final service at the end of the stage they're currently on, and then it's pretty much pedal to the metal as they head through the final stage of Hoff.
It's not go, is it? Because I've had enough of that on the F1.
Well, it's close enough, but it's only 1v1 on this occasion. There's not 19 other drivers out there trying to kill you into turn one. But yeah, that extra service, it is crucial. It's a short service, but Captain Sparkles, if he keeps consistent, like we said, a minimal damage on his car pretty much throughout these stages, this could really pay off for him in the later stages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he said his goal was to get to the end and not be last. And I think he's done himself very, very well. Old Sparkly Pants is what his name is on his screen. So that's what I'll be calling him from now on. But yeah, he's coming towards stop point control now at a 12-minute 18. So a little bit slow, about a minute 30 off the pace of Punju. But, he's not in a fight with Punju here. He knows what his goal is, and he's executing his plan very well.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how much damage he has on that Super Impreza. And I'll tell you what, it looks pretty much factory brand new.
Yeah, getting to the end of this stage with the car intact, that is the right way to go around rallying. To finish first you must finish, and 79th on the stage, so not even bad pace overall there, and certainly a lot quicker than me. I think I did that stage about 15 minutes because I did it all on 3 tires. It was miserable. Have I mentioned that I had a terrible time on this circuit yet? I'm not sure I have, but I tell you what, let's grab Punju in for another interview. He seems to be available and just completing that long stage, the reverse of course, what we'll run next time out. Punju, 10 minutes 45, was it, or something like that? It was only like 40 or so seconds off the pace of Kamikaze. It was superb.
It was not too bad, dude. I'll take that any day of the week. Yeah, I'm doing service right now where I'm basically gonna quick fix everything that I possibly can and just hope that it's good enough to get me to the end.
Right.
what I'm looking
Okay.
to do.
So you are carrying a little bit of damage here. I mean,
I
how
might
does
be
that
missing a door.
change
might
your
be missing a door.
mentality going into that final stage? Of course, you have the super stage, the power
Yeah.
points available, 5 points available to the winner in the Creator Series standings here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this stage. Obviously, obviously, I want to maximize. I want to go and send it as hard as I can. Um, it's a little unfortunate that I'm carrying this much damage. Like I've got turbo, bodywork, suspension, steering, and gearbox damage. Technically, I can get away with the gearbox. I can get away with the bodywork. Probably, it's pretty rough. I'm missing a door. But everything else is on. But I definitely needed to up my turbo, my steering, and my suspension so I can get some better handling and just give it everything it's got, man. I'm taking quick fixes. I'm gonna give it everything we got and send it. Leave it all on the field.
And of course, you had that battle with Vlembar. At the moment, it seems to be a bit of an unsurmountable gap. 40 seconds on the
Yeah.
final stage. Vlembar on the final stage set a time of a 10-minute 21. So you're looking at basically getting the overall stage win if you were to beat Vlembar overall. Do you
Wait,
think that's possible?
he got a 10-20 on that one?
He got 10, according to this, 10:21, 8:74 on Hofspringsgog, the final
And
stage.
how many seconds am I off of him right now?
You're about 40 seconds away, 41 seconds overall.
So yeah, I would have
racing
to
it.
I have to be within 2 seconds of the stage win to beat him. Is the
Yes.
math.
Yep. It was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat him. It's not happening. It's just not happening. I will say, you never know, right? But it does not look too hopeful. One person that I need to shout out for being freakishly quick here in Sweden. I do not know what's going on, but PJ Tierney is unreal here. He's like the EA Sports admin for WRC. He's like the guy. He's in all the Reddit threads. He's obviously the main moderator of the EA WRC Discord, and he's one that I'm trying to beat as well. Dude, he is fast today. What is going on? So I gotta give him a shout out. He's quick.
Yeah, of course. I think you are ahead of him, aren't you? You are ahead of him by about 25 seconds going into the final stage. You can so easily
Correct.
lose that with a few instances. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and someone in chat saying a 9:40 time for the final stage. Yeah, crazy. But Jack,
I don't know how to.
Jacob,
Yeah.
Jacob Rally, it must be. I was going to say Jacob
Correct.
B Rally, but it must be Jacob Rally at
I bet it's
9:38.
Jacob.
9:38, incredible. We do actually have, and we'll go over this now, a video of Kamikaze, who is the man who leads the overall stage.
Oh.
As he goes through the first 2 sectors of Hofspringsgog. So you can stay around and watch this if you want, Punjo, as well.
Heck yeah.
This is you can pick up a few tips maybe through the first stage. Of course, you've run this sector, of course, back in stage 9.
Yeah.
But you do have to kind of pace it a little bit more because of that damage that you're now carrying, and of course the fact that you have about another 10 kilometers to do at the end of it. I mean, what do you look at the esports guys doing that maybe you're not doing?
They have cooler overlays. That's why they're beating me. It's the only reasonable explanation. I mean, look at this. That's just so much cooler than mine. Like it's always about style points in rally, anyways, and so it's never about your actual outright pace. Like, look at that overlay. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is so impressive, and something that I've picked up on you doing, is just hooking your wheels into the snowbanks, into the little ditches, just to guide yourself through the corners where possible. Is there a lot of time in doing that?
Yeah, big time. I mean, if you put that front inside corner over the berm, if you notice, he's doing this a lot. You have to pick which ones to do it in. What it's going to do is it's going to take a lot of that load off a single tire, which is going to be your outside rear, and it's going to more evenly distribute it across your other 2 tires. You're basically sacrificing one tire, which is going to be your inside front, to then give your other 2, usually entirely irrelevant tires, some actual use, which is then what gets you the extra grip. That's really what he's doing. And he actually makes a bit of a mistake there. Yeah, he's still so fast.
Yeah, just taking a bit too much pace into this. So he did get a 9-minute 45 overall on the stage, so he wasn't the overall leader at the stage, but 7 seconds off the pace. I don't think I was 7 seconds in that mistake, but it just shows how hooked up Jacob Valley must have been.
Yeah, he's really fast. I mean, he's always one to worry about. He's quick. I think he's been hanging out in my chat today too, and yeah, he's really, really, really impressive. This is really cool, man.
Yeah, so Kamikaze, overall leader of the club, you've got until 7 in the morning tomorrow to go and beat him. If anyone can go and do it, I'd be mightily impressed. And please send us clips if you do. Yeah, thank you very much, Punju. Good luck with your final
course.
stage. And
Thank you.
we'll surely speak to you afterwards.
Appreciate you, Garrett. TK.
Love to speak to you.
Cool. Yeah, that's very cool. That was a little preview of our final stage. TK, I've spoken a lot. Come on, tell me to shut up. Come on.
I'll never do that. I love hearing your voice, Gareth. But no, it's really interesting to see the different approaches our different creators are taking to all of these rally stages. We might be able to pull Riff Blondie in for a quick interview here, actually, as they
Yes.
finish their rally stage. Blondie, a fantastic showing for you so far in the in the latter stages here. How's your mindset going into the final rounds?
Hello, first of all. I'm trying to just keep having fun and not focus very much on my time. I don't know if you saw, but I don't have it on my screen, so I can never have track of where am I in terms of time on track.
That must be really jarring, not being able to compare yourself to the world record. At least that's the data that we've got to compare to. But obviously, you find out your time at the end of the stage, and how does that affect your mindset in each of the rounds?
That 30-second penalty that I got like 2 stages ago really threw me off. But I came here to have fun, mainly. So I'm good. I think I did pretty great.
Yeah, fantastic. And Gareth, any questions there for Blondie before we allow her to get on with the final stage?
I mean, you do have the final stage coming up in just a minute. Extra points up for grabs on the final stage. Do you think you're going to be able to secure any of them?
I'm gonna fully send it. It's the last one.
Yes.
Whatever happens will happen.
Absolutely. We'll keep a close eye on that one in the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining the commentary booth. We do have our first drivers out there on the final stage. Patterson and B-Roy are out there, and also Punju and Captain Sparkles hitting Hofskingskog. We've seen how quickly you can go through it. Hoffinskog, I should say. Hofskingskog. I don't know what that is. That's some kind of like moisturizer, I think. Hofskingskog is, we've seen how people can take it quickly. Let's keep an eye on Punju. He takes similar lines to those, but not quite on the same pace, maybe losing 30 or 40 seconds over the course of a rally stage such as this one. And actually, Punju coming to that right-hander where we saw Kamikaze make a mistake, and Punju keeping it a little bit tighter around there and a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, definitely not perfect by any standards, but a very, very good turn there by Punju. You can drift into that, I think, a little bit cleaner. Obviously, we saw the mistake by Kamikaze going right up onto the curb, and that is a big mistake there from Punju, just going over the baffles and ruining what was a perfect few corners.
Yeah, I mean, he's carrying a little bit of damage, which he said wasn't ideal, but he was absolutely going to go full send and try and pick up those 5 extra points for this final super stage. Of course, FIA points grading system for the Creator Series standings will try and get you those at the end, but also the super stage points system, which is I think the OG version, not the one we'll be running for 2024 in WRC, and indeed it has been run for 2024, but the 2023 version where it's 5 points for the win, 4 points for second, third, fourth, and fifth, all the way going down to 1 point on the final stage. It's being a power stage, a super stage, some might call it. And Punji picking up 30 points last week out. He'd love to make it back to back clean sweeps here and just show off his prowess in the creator's sphere as being the fastest man in rally.
Indeed, we know how very he's quick in rally cars. Whether he's quick on the snow will be determined in just probably under 20 kilometers to go, with all of our drivers pretty much setting out now. Only a few not doing so. Vic, Infratic, Dirk, and a few others not being able to start quite yet. They do start staggered, of course, which allows us to try and capture everybody on the stream. But I think, like we said, Patterson and B-Roy were the first few drivers out. Sparkles, though, actually, I think it's on about 5 minutes 50 at the moment, so he must have been the first driver out on this stage.
Yeah, he jumped the gun a little bit, and 2 minutes in front of Punju. Of course, usually meant to run at the same time, but But of course, it's all up to the discretion really, and we are relying on the creators to keep it in check with that one. I think Punju was just maybe a little bit later, if we're honest about that one. But yeah, people have been able to go a lot closer to their times this week, which has been very good. We've had some great organisation from Carbon Shadow on the background with that one, and also giving us all the information we need in the commentary booth to deliver tonight's event. A final little reminder: if you haven't subscribed to us so far, please drop a little follow on Twitch. You don't have to sub; that's an entirely different prospect. But certainly, get onto our socials. We are at F1 Creator Series. I'm sure we'll change that at some point as we're running multiple different series of sport now on the channel. But we are at F1 Creator Series across YouTube and Twitch, and of course Twitter and Facebook and Bebo and Friends Reunited, all of those. So please drop us a follow. As Punju makes a big mistake, hits a tree there, and he's still going, reversing over the snowbank, trying to get back on track.
Yeah, just trying to figure out his lefts from rights there is Punju. He couldn't figure out what way he needed to go here in the white cascade of snow. But he has managed to get himself going here. Left-hander executed absolutely perfectly. And again, just keeps looking up, reading chat. He hasn't found that focus once again in a pretty much similar part of the stage that we saw last time.
Yeah, well, he wanted to beat Vlembar early doors. Indeed, he did beat him over stage 2. Vlembar, of course, our overall winner in the club last week, about 11th place in the standings. But he didn't manage to do it. Captain Sparkles out there at the moment. I think he will be the first man to complete a stage here, to complete all 12 stages, and he's done a sterling job there.
As indeed, again, keeping it clean, and this is the side by side between Punju and Captain Sparkles, the two that will finish these stages first. A very clean run by Captain Sparkles on the right once again. Punju having a little bit more damage to his car this time around, but indeed putting it full send like we heard from Blondie earlier.
Yep, so Captain Sparkles is going to be finishing soon, 8 minutes 24, going to his right-hander, just keeping it on the lines. Not the most aggressive style of driving, but a very consistent and clean style. Punju there really still pushing, trying to make up for a bit of lost time, of course, having that mistake earlier on. And now coming over a series of crests and bumps. High speed here, 30 miles per hour at the moment. It's like kph, I'm not quite sure, but I think it must be miles per hour because it's full on the beans there, and in 6th gear, so it's about 200 kph that will work out at. And just pushing here, got a bit of a jump coming up too, and just got to keep it on the right line there, and really refocusing. You see his eyes just blinking as he just realizes he's pushing a little bit too hard and just needs to dial a little bit of pace out of it if he wants to keep on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, the car just getting very unsettled for him. And a big incident. He's rolled the car again. Tried to take it a little bit too aggressively on the left-hander, like he's been telling us. Locking that front left wheel and gets the rotation on the car. He went a bit too aggressive that time around, and it did result in, I believe, the front right clipping that edge and flipping the car. So that's going to hamper any opportunities of a perfect run.
Yep. A couple of rolls so far for Punju today, but overall he can be proud, and it's it may still be enough for the super stage. But look, he's a little bit disappointed with himself, shaking his head and just feeling that weight that he puts on his own shoulders to perform here. And I think because he nailed so well the super stage last time out, he's just not managed to quite do it correctly. Elsewhere, we have Captain Sparkles on track. He's going into the third to last sector of the whole of Rally Sweden, round 2 of the EA Creator Series WRC Club. Come and get enjoyed if you can. B-Roy is in the top right-hand corner. Patterson in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, these guys almost about to finish round 2. It's been a fantastic event so far, and this is one of the longest stages. Stage number 12, of course, 21.5 kilometers, like we saw in stage number 11. Of course, this being reversed from stage number 11, and I think they'll all be very proud to see that checkered flag, see home, and not have to drive in the snow again.
Yeah, and thank you everyone who's been in chat today, keeping us company in the broadcast, and thank you all of those people who's also competed. Taxi, I believe, is very, very high up in the standings. He's one of the front runners, I believe, third overall currently at the moment. So he's on for a podium and a big chunk of points in the club. Thank you very much for joining the club, and everyone who has joined the club over the last week.
Yeah, I just want to give a massive shout out to Aerotech as well. He started a considerable distance behind a lot of our competitors, but you can see here in the top left hand of your screen, he's caught up. He's on the final stage.
That is absolutely bonkers. There we are. Aerotech, unfazed. I tell you what, he'll just start every race by just reinstalling his game and just burning through those stop gaps. He's been fantastic, and maybe we can speak to Aerotech at the end of the rally and give him a whistle stop tour of his crazy day in rally here. He's really pushing on through the third sector here of Hofsvinskog, the final stage here. Over 20 kilometers of rallying for him to do, but a superb effort by him in that Citroen Zara. And Captain Sparkles in the bottom right hand corner is about to wrap up his day of rallying, and I think he's done himself severely proud here, and he can look forward to later Creator Series events. I'm sure he'll be part of, knowing that he's got some decent pace in him.
Indeed, if I was him, I'd be very, very proud of the effort I put in today. He's kept it probably the cleanest out of any of the creators through these stages. One final corner to go for him through Sweden, drifts it across the line. I think he's fallen just a little bit short. He's got to get the car focus, get across the line. Oh no, but a few seconds there, but he won't bother him too much. A fantastic drive by Sparkles. I could almost guarantee when we see that car in a few seconds, it will be pristine.
Yeah, absolutely. So Captain Sparkles, a 12-minute 30 through that final stage, and we will be able to find out towards the end where that has put him overall. But a very, very solid time for him. 12-minute 30 on that stage, 83rd overall, just in front of Carbon Shadow. So in good company there for 83rd and 84th spot. So very, very nice. Punju will be the next person over the line. And even with those mistakes, he's still looking at a very, very decent time. It was about a 10-minute 43 when he did the return leg of the stage in stage 11. Now it's going to be somewhere in the high 10:50s, maybe just creeping into the 11s, actually, as we slalom and meander our way through the forests of Sweden for the final time. Punju, in his mini countryman rally, will probably take the overall win in round 2 with where he has settled, unless someone can pull out something truly miraculous and game-breaking in the final lap. But I think he's overall pretty happy with that one. 11:03 for him.
Yeah, fantastic lap by Punju. 11:03, so just nipping over that 11-minute mark, but I don't think he'll mind. It was fist bumps in the air for himself. Definitely happy with how that went. I don't think he's beaten Vlembar, who he set out to beat in overall, but we will wait and see who beats him off.
Yep. So he is in P something. I think my producer just told me P39. He's whistling in my ears. So P39 on the stage, and overall he is looking currently at P18. But I tell you what, he has dropped behind PG Turney. So PG's been quicker than all of our creators here, and the gap between them after all of that rallying was was actually 14 seconds. So losing quite a bit. He went into that stage with about a 20-second lead, but PG picking up a very good final stage time there, and I believe he did a 10-minute 27 on that final stage. So a swing of about 20 or so seconds between those two.
Yeah, fantastic. We did see Vlembar just in the standings in P11, so lost out, Punju losing out to Vlembar there by about 7 positions. It all was a bit too much in the snow for Punju this time around. He gave it the best effort. Little mistakes here and there just cost him. But again, a drive to be proud of. It's a lot of miles covered across Sweden this afternoon. And a fantastic, fantastic drive from himself.
Let's just quickly pull Punju into the booth so we can speak about his final rally. A few moments out there, a roll for yourself. That cost you time to PJ, and PJ's now finished ahead of you overall.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
I really messed that one up, man. I easily lost. Yeah, I'm like, look at this. I was a minute 25 off the leader's pace. Like, that's 35 seconds off of PJ. If I would have just matched his time, which I easily could have done, I would have beaten him. But it's as his rally, right? Dang. Rough.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it was very, very close last week, but yeah, just falling short of where you wanted to be overall in these races.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was still fun. Still super, super, super fun. I don't know if I'm actually going to even get this stage win for the super stage at this rate because a minute 25 off that's a big boy right there. I think it's pretty open right now for people to get up there and take it from me out of the creators for sure. I'm barely top half of the club board, so yeah.
TK, any questions for Punju?
I don't think I've got any questions necessarily. Just commiserations, obviously. Like you said, PJ taking the overall spot above yourself in terms of bragging rights for this week. Looking forward to next week round Kenya. How do you think your chances stand to try and reclaim that metaphorical crown?
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely want to beat PJ again. I really like the Group B all-wheel drive / Kenya combo. I just think it's so fun. It's ridiculous. I drive at stick shift with a clutch, so I do have a slight disadvantage that way. So that does make it a little rough. However, I'm absolutely going to be sending it in the Quattro because I mean, like, you have to, right? I fancy my chances pretty good, even though I'll be going into it relatively raw. I'm doing Sebring 12-hour this weekend. So I'll be relatively low on practice. So we'll see what happens. And the day before is my birthday, so it's technically my birthday rally, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
No.
Well, happy birthday if that for Punju.
Thank you.
How old are you turning? Do you want to reveal that?
27. I'm an old fart.
27. Oh, okay. That's yeah. I'm not singing happy birthday. Just to confirm everyone to
What are you talking about? We had some shit
I'll be
on
singing happy
Monday.
birthday next time. Yeah, for your rally. It's
Yeah,
fine.
there it is.
I'll
There it is.
record it. It's fine. But yeah, Punju. I mean, we'll keep an eye out to see if you are still the fastest over stage 12 of our creators. But it looks like you have got 25 points at least from this one. We'll be able to get a quick look at the standings later on if we do manage to update those in time. But thank you very much for joining the booth once again, and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We will look to bring in. Shall we bring in Emphatic, because we haven't actually spoken to Emphatic yet so far, and he's just finished his final rally. Emphatic, how was it out there today? We haven't been able to catch up with you. 84th overall on that stage. Did you have fun today?
I had a lot of fun, but the last two stages are too long, way too long.
Did you feel like the shorter stages matched your style and temperament a bit better?
Yeah, like in the beginning, as you guys know, I don't really play the game. I just played it in the launch. So I haven't played in months. And the first few stages, I was just getting, a hang of it. I was getting in the flow of it. And eventually, it was going well. But the last two stages was just, I couldn't, physically, mentally, dead. I can't.
So you faded over those races. Did you slip?
I did.
Did you slip a bit over the overall standings?
Yeah,
Have you
just like the F1 races
the
towards the end.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I hope I'm not going to be last.
I don't think you are going to be last. Emphatic.
Let's go.
I'll be honest. Certainly not in the club because yeah. me and both producer Rob were a lot slower than you. Carbon Shadow too. So yeah, I'm just trying to scroll through and desperately find out where you actually came. 74th overall, just in front of Captain Sparkles by 10 seconds.
Let's go.
You're faster than a ex or soon to be ex Minecraft YouTuber. Does that make you delighted?
Not really, because this is just the first time I'm here.
Yeah.
I will be back next week, and I will aim
Aiming
to
for the
beat
top.
the likes of Punju and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I will
Excellent.
take the time of my day to practice a little bit, and yeah.
Rally Kenya next week. Do you like Kenya? Have you raced that much?
Like
Rally
I
there?
said, I don't play the game. I have 6 hours in the game. 6 hours.
6 hours? You could have done
Yeah.
6 hours of Rally Kenya, for all I know. Maybe
I
Rally
might.
Kenya is the one to be for Emphatic. I don't
We'll see.
know.
Will we know the standings of everyone in the end? Like with the times added, or how is it going to work?
I mean, the RaceNet has all of it in there already. But we will be able to find out the creator standings maybe at the end of the stream. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Go to log into RaceNet if you haven't already. You can see.
Yeah,
exactly
I
where
am.
But yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Emphatic, and yeah, great debut for you there. keep getting it to the end, and I think a lot of people have got to the end today. So that's very impressive. And tell you what, we're going to pull in Only Vic as well, as a person we also haven't spoken to.
At the bottom, Eli.
Hello,
Oh,
Vic. I've just brought you into
hello.
the broadcast
Sorry.
room. You've made it to the end of the rally, the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Did you have feedback in your wheel this week?
I did. Yeah. I've got the force feedback, so that's great. I could actually feel what I was doing this week.
And yeah, TK, any questions for Vic?
Yeah, just obviously being able to finish off the race and the rally this time around. How does it feel to finally get some points on the board for yourself?
I mean, it feels great. It feels really good. I think my main issue is endurance. Like, I am so tired from doing 12 of those. And I think like towards the end, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is exhausting. But it feels good to actually finish it. It's actually quite a nice feeling. So I'm looking forward to next week already.
Yeah, and Infratic was saying the same thing about endurance when it came to those last two stages. I think it was about 43 kilometers you covered over
Yeah.
2 stages. But looking ahead to Kenya, obviously the Group P, the 4-wheel drive cars, how's your confidence going into those?
It's all right. I mean, I tend to not do any practice really, which is probably my downfall. I kind of like to just surprise myself with it. Um, but I'm confident. I think it'll go really well.
Well, yeah, and Gareth, any questions for
I'm
Vic
just
here?
what's your EA ID? I'm just desperately trying to find you in the standings.
No, don't. It's right at the bottom. It's literally only Vic, but with a 0.
Oh right, okay. Well, I'm just saying because I did dramatic. I did quite badly. It's near the bottom, but it's not the
It is at
bottom.
the bottom. It's
So
not, and this is what my chat was saying as well. It's like you're not last. I was like, no,
yeah.
completely correct. We're nearly there, but we're not.
But last week you didn't even finish, so that's progress. That's
Exactly.
forward progress. Next week
It is.
mid-table, week after
Yep.
winning the stages, right?
Easy.
Well, I tell you what, Vic, it's been a pleasure to have you back here. I'm really glad you were able to overcome those wheel issues that you had last week, and yeah, very much good to see you. Final, just with the Group B cars, you're not going to practice much. Just again, go into it pretty fresh.
Yeah, I've got such a busy week. So yeah, I won't have much spare time to practice, unfortunately, again. But hopefully after next week I'll have a bit more time and maybe I'll start practicing from then going forward.
Well, thank you very much for joining, and yeah, we'll hope to see more improvement from Only Vic as the weeks go by. I tell you what, there's one person I really want to speak to. It's the man who has absolutely ritzed through all 12 stages after a reinstall. Aerotech, repping that Citroen Zara, some very consistent and clean runs, and I believe, a very quick overall stage time out there.
Yeah, finished just a couple seconds off of Rain Dancer. I know he's very active in the community, so if I'm close to him, I must be doing something right. I just wanted to finish with everybody else, and I knew if I pushed too hard and drove too hard, I'd hit a tree and then be way off. So, tried to channel my inner Sebastian Loeb today and just keep all 4 on the snow. I almost did my job until the last stage, but if you're gonna flip and keep going, I think the last stage is the time to do it. Yeah, I'm looking at the results now. I'm stoked that I did as well as I did. I just was hoping to finish and maybe not finish last. So we're in the money today.
Yep. So on that stage, you were just behind Ray Dancer on one of the longer stages, a 9:43. Was that?
Yeah.
And 66 overall. I mean, it's 9:43 difference between the top 66 minutes. Overall, that's a very very competitive time. And is that where you expected to be going into this?
I thought I'd be, because I haven't been on WRC in a while, and of course I had all the technical issues. The game wouldn't update, and I had to reinstall it, and I was so far behind. I figured, if I was gonna finish well, my best hope would be that everyone else they're very competitive, as I'm learning, and would over push and make mistakes. So I'm like, if I'm 3 or 4 seconds slower on one stage, I might gain all that back because someone gets a puncture. Like I had a spin, and like on the second to last stage, I had a little moment with the snowbank, and then the flip on the last stage. But I just kept my foot in it, circa Colin McRae X Games, and just kept going. So I didn't lose. I was not the fastest one up there, but it seems like keeping it on the pavement or keeping it all 4 on the snow helped out a lot.
I think you are our second fastest creator on that final stage. You were not too far away from the likes of Punju, which is, he's been,
and he practiced.
He's been
He's
sweating.
played this
Yeah,
recently.
it's an unfair advantage, isn't it? How dare he practice?
He's not allowed to use his hands next time. He's got to tape
Ye-
his elbows to his wheel, I think.
I mean,
Give us a chance.
you come from a kind of drifting background. Did you feel like that helps you on the rally stages?
A lot, yeah. I do a lot of dirt and competitive dirt stuff in other games, and then I have a lot of sim drifting experience. So turning the car with the brake and like left foot braking, obviously knowing when to use the handbrake in competitive drifting, especially in the sim, you don't want to be using the handbrake all the time. You want to move the car with the wheel, the throttle, and the brake. So just kind of moving the car around with the tools that I have gave me a head start. I have some people in the community too who also came from that world who are very competitive now on the rally side of things. So my biggest issue is pace notes because that's not something I'm used to. I'm not really super familiar with rally games, and obviously left 4 whatever, you know what that is. But hearing 80 meters before the next corner and like knowing what that means instead of just panicking and stopping 3 times and going like just a little bit more confidence with pace notes and stuff, I think is my next big hurdle to overcome. But we've got 6 more events. Hopefully I'm on time for the next one.
No quick
Make my life a little bit easier.
Well, what caused the reinstall? Just a few issues out there.
I don't know. I tried to install the update and it kept failing and said corrupt data. And I went, well, I'm going to try and reinstall it. And if that doesn't work, I'll see y'all next week. But turns out that works out. So
you did very well getting to the end, and you finished basically in time with everyone else. So I think time to perfection, Aero. TK, any questions for Aero before we let him go?
Not necessarily a question, but just fantastic being able to catch yourself up after the tech issues and some fantastic driving from yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and hopefully we can put on a bit better of a show next week.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Aerotech. And I mean, we have spoke to everyone now in the background. I don't know if there's anyone particularly that we want to speak to who have to, but we've managed to go through all 10 of our creators today, which I think has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour of them all. Thank you, everyone in chat. You've been absolutely amazing. I was going to just try and quickly see in the background if we have the WRC standings updated, but I'll quite quickly figure that out while TK will fill for me.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic running again here in the WRC. We've seen 10 creators battle it out in some fantastic detailed environments here in Sweden, and some actually that I have been to in real life. It's been beautiful to see them take the twists and turns, the jumps and the dips in completely different manners. We've seen the drifting experience from Aerotech. We've seen the straight line speed and the F1 experience from drivers like Punju and Patterson. It's been a real nice mix to see how everybody's taking it ever so slightly differently.
Okay, well, I don't think we are going to get the standings in, so maybe we'll just do a little bit more filling and maybe just pull in 1 or 2 more of our creators. I'm certainly not asking you to do standings, producer Rob in the background. I'm just waiting to see if it gets done by someone. Let's who should we pull in? Who do we want to talk to after all those stages? Should we talk to Captain Sparkles once again?
Let's chat to him.
Talk with the man who have you quit Minecraft yet, or is that happening? You in your finale when I saw some of the videos from you recently? Is that right?
I'm retiring it from my main channel.
Yes,
after a final series, but I'm still streaming it, and then it goes up on my second channel. But yeah, still at it a bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're one of your first times. Well, it's certainly your first time to create a series. We've seen you in the WGCs today, in the past, sorry, and today you seem just very consistent. You got to the end. You weren't last, which was your goal.
Yes.
Are you proud of the effort you put in out there?
Yeah, I mean, I felt every stage was pretty good for me, except I kind of fumbled on the last one, especially with the spin right before the finish line, which is a little bit embarrassing. But you know what? I will take 5th place, absolutely. So I'm very happy.
Right, so it's 5th place out of all of the creators, right? Okay, so someone's told. I'm
Yeah.
sure Punji's been working that out in the background, doing some wizardry.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we've got a replay of your final stage here that you were pushing through. I mean, those long stages right at the end, those 2 long stages, were they a kind of different test to those earlier stages that we saw in this rally?
Yeah, it takes a little bit more, and then you see me just messing up there. Yeah, it takes a little bit more endurance, certainly, and It's like I feel you get zoned out a little bit with all the different sections of other stages kind of mashed into one thing. It's easy to confuse yourself, uh, and go off the track on a hairpin. But thank goodness didn't take a penalty there. So yeah. Also, I don't have a handbrake, which definitely doesn't help with the
Yes. Yeah,
hairpins.
of
So I
course.
need to add that in.
Yeah, layering those parts to your setup. A Group B next week around Kenya. Any thoughts on that track and car combination?
I have no idea if I am. I don't know if I'm playing it or
Okay.
anything like that. But I'm sure it will be great fun. I enjoy doing this.
Well, yeah, well, I hope to see you in the club, even if you don't get to be in the broadcast next week. But thank you very much for joining, Captain Sparkles, and we'll let you get back to it. But we'll also pull in Dirk Chocolate, who's finished there, and see what his final thoughts are. Dirk, hello. We just pulled you in there. How did you find it overall? You finished up in that in Pretzer, just seeing about a replay. And tell you what, midweek when I was running it, you were making a few comments about what my car looked like. My car looked about as good as your car at the end there.
My car looks like a rally car, is what my car looks like. This is how it started, though. Is what I'm. No, honestly, but the first, if I had tires, we would have been. But considering that I had no tires until the last two stages, no fresh tires until the last two stages, I only got beaten by Fabio and someone else. Like there was like a 15-second gap. Plus, I got a couple of 30-second penalties. So I was actually fast. I was very fast. It's just unfortunate that my brain wasn't working, and I had no practice. So next week,
excuses
next
dropping
week,
down.
I'm not meant to be anywhere, which means I can practice, and I'm gonna come back with a vengeance. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm coming back with a vengeance next week.
Well, we look forward to you coming back next week. Hopefully, remembering to change the tires this time around. But we were speaking to Sparkles earlier. He managed to stay out the wall, stay out of damage. Are you looking to maybe kind of work on that a little bit next week as well?
No. Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. May as well go in. If I hit a tree, I hit a tree. But at least I know that if I don't hit a tree, I will gain a lot of time. It's worth the risk. that's my thinking. Actually, next week it'll be rocks rather than trees because we're in Kenya, so that's gonna be great.
With the Group B cars, Group B 4-wheel drive cars, any of the cars sing home to you? Have you thought that far
I
ahead?
don't even know what car is in Group B at this moment in time. I'll be honest with you.
Extra money for anyone who picks the MG Mini Metro because that car is the car I'd pick.
You like the strangest cars, and I've never understood it. Like the strangest cars. If there was a Dacia, there is a Dacia in this game, isn't there?
Is there? I don't think
There is a Dacia.
Is there a Dacia in this game?
Yeah.
How have I not driven it yet? Is it the Sandero?
I know it's not the bloody Sandero, no.
Is it the Dacia Jogger? Please say it's the Dacia Jogger.
It's not the Jogger, unfortunately, no. But I know what you're going to be doing for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I will be rinsing that Dacia Duster around Kenya, getting some practice in.
I'll be there watching, don't you worry. All right.
Thank you very much, Dirk. We will speak to you next week, of course, when you're back. And I think we can conclude it there. Let's see in the background, have the standings been filled out? B-Roy actually may want to interview. Let's get B-Roy in. Come on, B-Roy, he's finishing near the bottom. The man from Florida. You didn't love the snow. Anything to say at the end there?
The fact that I beat guys that normally know how to drive in real life in the snow, I'll take it.
What? Who are the people who know how to drive in real life in the snow?
Let's see. I'm assuming Dirk knows. I'm assuming Fabio knows. I'm assuming Riff knows. I'm assuming
What do you
Patterson
think Britain's
knows.
like? It just rains a lot in Britain. It doesn't snow a lot. And also, Fabio's from Portugal.
Have you ever seen drivers in the snow in the UK? Like, it's a lot of crashing.
I can't say that I have. But
YouTube it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair. But no, it was a lot of fun. I went into it after I talked with y'all. I was like, all right, there's no way I'm coming back from this, and I just need to full send it. And the full send worked, and we got P4 out of everybody that was on the broadcast today. So I'm not mad about that at all. I think if I didn't get the 2.5 minutes or something like that worth of penalties, I could have gotten like a podium spot. I could have been up there with Rain Dance and Aerotech, not with Punju. That man just we're not going to talk about that man. He doesn't exist in the charts. So if you think about he's not here, I'm P3. So you know, but
Yeah,
but,
don't worry. I have full access to the standings, so every time he puts his time in, I'll just delete it. Yeah, is that a good call?
everybody go follow Gareth on all his socials right now. The savior we all needed.
TK, anything closing for B-Roy?
No, just I really look forward to seeing you again next week. Slightly different conditions, of course, in the dust and the gravel in Kenya. But how are you looking forward to that?
No, because I found out it's Group B, and I don't know if it's front wheel drive, rear wheel drive,
All-wheel
or
drive.
all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive.
Oh, okay. That makes it a hint better. But Group B power cars around a really, really tough gravelly circuit. Yeah, we might be I might be talking to you guys very early next week.
I don't suspect that you'd be the only one. That car it's going to be very hard hitting, that rally. But yeah, thank you very much, B-Roy. A pleasure as always. But now we will bring this to an end, won't we?
Yes.
TK, you've done an absolutely sterling job coming in quite late today to join the commentary booth of WRC. How have you found it?
I've really enjoyed it. I loved playing rally games as a kid. It was always one of my favorite things to do, and to be able to watch some of the guys do it somewhat professionally this afternoon makes it even better. And yeah, fantastic effort all round from all of our drivers.
I mean, what was your first rally game? Come on, give it a shout out.
I can't remember it. It's really embarrassing. No, I'll have to Google it and let you know later. Because I did find it the other day, and I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, V-Rally, Sega Rally maybe in the arcades I may have played, and of course Colin McRae Rally 3 are the ones that really stick out for me as my first ones. But
Richard Burns Rally, that was my
Richard
first
Burns
rally game.
Rally. That's a banger. That is a banging game. Absolutely banging game. TK, where can we find you when you're not on the Creator Series channels?
Yeah, I'm at the Mousemeister on 90% of socials. However, that was taken on Instagram, so I'm at TK on comms.
You need to consolidate it all into one.
I'm trying, but have you figured out how difficult it is to get a username with TK and that isn't taken?
Yeah, I guess that's very true. A very unique challenge. You just need to have like 17 TKs, which would mean that it ends on a T.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm being Gareth Allen TV on all the social media gubbins. You can find it there. I've consolidated it, so you don't have to work. But will anyone actually go and follow us from that? They rarely do they? Go on, actually go and follow us. If you can.
Actually do it.
Go to Twitter and follow me. I will recognize you there. Follow me for my Guitar Hero guitars, which are on the wall. They're actually Rock Band guitars, producer Rob. Let's get this right. Come on, put some respect on that. These are EA hardware. Let's not get that wrong. Of course, sponsored by the EA Sports brand. We have been very helped out by them massively as putting together this production for this WRC, and round 2 is done. Next week it's the dust and gravel of Kenya, and we say bye-bye to the cold north of Sweden. Thank you very much for everyone who's watched along. Get in the club. There's over 300 of you. Over 179 people completed the rally today. Insane numbers. Let's carry on that growth. Thank you very much for everyone involved and everyone for watching. See you soon.